There we go.
There we are. Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Everybody.
How you doing?
It's going pretty good.
Well, there's Sandy.
Yeah, Sandy just pooped in the rain.
Ooh, that's fine. That's one of my favorite things to do.
She's a good girl right now. She didn't want to go for so long, but she kept being like, "Oh, I want to go outside." And I opened the door, and
our
like,
our lives wash away like poop in the rain. Sorry.
But she finally was like, okay, I really am going to go, and she did it. So she's a good girl.
Try is not eating the chip tonight.
I'm not doing the spicy chip tonight.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it tonight.
It's
we gotta spread it out. You know?
Yeah, I think the memory of what happened with me is too fresh. Like I was okay. I was okay like the next day. And
it sounded like you weren't okay at some point in the afternoon that day.
Right. I was okay all night. I was okay in the morning, but like around like 11 or so, it was a red alert, essentially. It was a red alert, and like my wife was like working on like putting up shelves in the bathroom. So I'm like, well, luckily we have other bathrooms in the house, but I was like, whatever. it was not very cool, but like after that is done.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, the hottest thing I've ever eaten.
Hottest thing you probably ever intend to eat.
Yeah. Honestly, like I think that
you're done.
I think I'm done. I think I am done with like things like that. Like I don't mind hot sauce. I will totally eat, like food with hot sauce on it. And I will do like different like wing sauces and stuff, but like single pieces of food that are that hot, like I'm done with that. Like it's over. Like every time, like between that chip and little nitro, I've had enough to last a lifetime. I'm over with doing that. But like I sent it to I sent the clip to the Twitter of the people who make the chip, and they didn't respond. Only Dude Wipes responded. At Dude Wipes responded, which is like apparently like male centric butt wipes, like toilet paper. Like whatever. Like they were the only people that responded to it. I don't know. I don't know.
After all that work, the one chip challenge better responded.
Yeah. After all that. So, it's hopefully it shows up on the website. I don't know what else I need to do. They can watch me eat the chip, and like I sent the clip that I sent them, like, cut out the part where I said it smelled really gross and all this other stuff about it because I didn't want to like insult it too much. But hopefully,
people probably don't give it like rave reviews anyway.
It's not that. That's not the point. The point is that you go through excruciating stomach problems, and and you can't feel your mouth for 20 minutes.
Oh.
But yeah, I didn't hallucinate. But I was definitely like my hearing was kind of gone. Like it was more than enough. I'm done. I'm ready to just like have hot sauce now.
Just good old fashioned hot sauce.
Good old fashioned hot sauce. So before the stream, before we were actually on here, it was still in the pre-stream. There was a $3 donation from Yo-Yo Yoshio, 267 with $3. Thank you. Saying, do you think that using infinite continue cheats in old games ruin the point of old games? I found a few 8-bit games that had secret continue modes like Cosmic Epsilon that you can press select and start when you game over or continue from that game over to continue from the start of that level. I mean, do you think that's totally fine? is using stuff that, continue codes that are like built into the game and really easy to do.
If I was talking recently about how I feel like Master System, like it's like almost a part of the system because like so many games use that kind of universal,
Yes.
like I forget what, it's something with like the player 2 controller, right?
Well, not always. I mean, a lot of games, like specifically like Space Harrier is one that I can think of where you have to hold down like a diagonal direction and press like buttons at the same time. And
some of them are explained in the manual.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And I
that,
think
if it's in the manual, that's a 100% fair game. I mean, I love it when games have infinite continues, but at the same time, one of the joys of, like NES games and Genesis games and stuff like that to me is this sense of kind of getting to know the game over like, the course of many sort of attempts and playthroughs. And you don't, even when you have infinite continues, and you might have to do one level many times over and over, but you get this sense of like getting really good at the game, is I appreciate that, but then there can be times where like with Master System games don't give you any continues.
Right. And, like I said, Space Harrier has like you hold on a diagonal and press 2 buttons, and half the time it doesn't even work. Like especially, with that, if you didn't have that like the control pad that had the diagonals on it, then more times than not it wouldn't actually activate. So I don't consider it cheating if it's just like a button combo that's like right there. And I don't have any problem like putting in a cheat to like add more continues, but I'm not as stringent with this stuff as you are. And but I do like the process of learning a game and just getting better at it over time.
Yeah. I mean, it depends. I mean, at the end of the day, the right answer is always do what's fun for you. But at the same time, I do encourage people to play by the game's rules. At least just try it, because you might discover that you do enjoy that process of getting to learn the game and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. Like I personally have found that like, like I don't have enough time to like follow or to like stay like on top, like to like dedicate to games as much as I would like to these days. And that's why like I decided like I'm okay if I will play a game initially like on normal, but if I feel like it's like hampering my enjoyment of it, then I will move it to easy, and I'm okay with that. It's just, what are you gonna do? I mean,
I like to play by the default rules, but
yeah,
sometimes you do just gotta dial it back.
Exactly. And there's also $5 from Demo Kirby saying paw tip on Kelly's behalf. She went to bed early tonight. All right. I didn't realize that you two live together, or I think. I mean, or that you knew each other. I guess
that's the assumption that I would take from that the context of that donation.
Yes, exactly.
Unless they're just like in a Discord channel or something together.
Mm-hmm. I see that there's £5 from InGen UK saying I ordered Jumping Flash from Japan a few weeks ago and it arrived yesterday. Also looking forward to the Mr. episode soon. We're scripting the Mr. episode. It's moving along. But on the topic of like getting this game from Japan, so I'm going to be playing the US version tonight. But I have the trilogy on disc, but they're all trilogy. Yeah, they're all the Japanese versions. And I was just looking at like how much these cost now, So here's this. So this is Jumping Flash 2, but it comes with the first game. right?
Mhm.
So
On a separate disc.
yeah, it's 2 discs. You know, it's like, hang on, I'll show you. And it's got everything. It even has like a sticker in here, and a couple of like other little things here. But yeah, it's 2 discs. It has one for each. But I saw that, you know, it's like $30 for this pack plus $20 shipping, maybe more expensive. In Gen UK, how much did you end up paying for it? Because I think it's funny because I got this double pack when we were in Japan shooting the M2 documentary, and it was 108 yen, which is like $1, right? It's like $1.
Yeah, there were. You know, it's interesting. There was actually several games marked at 108 yen. I don't know exactly why that was. Maybe it's like tax built into it, or you know, because the way that the conversion cost worked out at that time, at the time we were there, it was like 100 yen was about 90 cents. So that would have been pretty much right at $1.
Yeah.
108 yen. Like I got a copy of Wave Race 64. It wasn't the Shindo version, the Rumble Pack version. So it was just 108. But I mean, I just saw it. I'm like, Japanese Wave Race 64 is $1. Like, why not?
Why not? Hang on. People are saying that your mic's up there a bit. I'm going to bring it down to 90, see if that helps. I think it sounds good here, but I don't know why it's...
I wouldn't have expected anything to... I certainly didn't change anything on my end.
Yeah.
But
let me know if that's better now. But I also got the third game, which is Robbit Mandu, and that was 500 yen.
Robbit Mandu.
Robbit Mandu.
Let me see how that's spelled.
Wait for you to.
Waiting to see there. Robbit Mandu. That's pretty great. It's got the book off sticker. I love that it has the book off sticker on. Honestly.
Yeah, I kept them both on there.
I didn't even remember you buying those there. Like, I at the time I don't think I would have even really known to look. I mean, did the first 2 games come out here?
Yes,
and not the third or something like that.
Right.
And see, I wouldn't have even really known to look out for it. Like it was a name that I'd like vaguely heard, but I knew nothing about what the game was. And to be completely honest, I want to say the one time I ever played it was
on the PS1 Classic.
The PS1 Classic, believe it or not, which I'm not sure if that's one of the PAL version games or not. But regardless, I was like, oh, like I could get into this.
Yeah,
like,
it is kind of ahead of its time. I mean, someone said earlier it could be considered like Metroid Prime Zero.
yeah, or Turok is really Metroid Prime Zero, but you know, it's before Turok though.
Oh yeah. So I mean, it's kind of a cool game, and I just thought it would be fun to play this. I only just came up with it like an hour ago, or an hour before the stream, I guess. So I'll get to that, and we'll go ahead and begin. All right,
yeah.
And I am playing this on the using the PS1 digital, but I'm also playing on the CRT. Everyone else is seeing the PS1 digital.
Well,
I don't know how long this is.
Text is weirdly positioned on this scene.
Yeah. The resolution is weird on this. I had to move it around in the PS1 digital, like, I don't know, alignment, whatever.
Oh.
But it should be okay though now. I see a lot of people talking about the fact that it just came out that Bob Saget has died.
You're kidding!
Yeah, I'm not kidding. It's
really
very, very shocking.
That, I mean, had he been sick or was it not?
No, he was just did a show last night, I guess.
You're kidding! Like he wasn't like all that old, was he?
He is 65.
Wow, it's
really sad.
That is wild.
I don't know if I can tell my daughter about it. I think that she's would be upset because she's watched. I've been watching, or like incessantly watching, Fuller House on Netflix, and it's maybe like a touch old for her, too old for her. Like the subject matter is too old, but you know, we decided to like let that fly, I guess. And she's really enjoyed it, so I don't know if I can tell her about this. She might get real upset. I cannot get her to watch the original as much as I've tried.
Unresponsive in a hotel room in Orlando. That's crazy. Wow. I mean, I only really knew him from Funniest Home Videos.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like that was really that was when I was, you know, in like elementary school. That was my favorite TV show. That's crazy. I can't believe that.
Yeah. That's really unfortunate. So I assume I'm collecting all these things. I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing here. But that's okay.
I mean, collecting shiny things is good. There was a $10 a little bit ago from Jonathan Fridberg.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shout out to Dan, Matt, and Patrick. Whoever those fine folks might be.
So, the music's good. You know, there's something about this era of music, of like, you know, on the PS1, it just like has such a different feel to it, and it's just like enhanced, you know, 16-bit music.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, it's like it's still not afraid to be video game music, you know?
Right.
Like, it's, you know, just good old-fashioned Japanese video game music that's, you know, got really strong, you know, melodies and is, you know, exciting and makes you want to like play.
Yeah. I like that you can jump on enemies too. Yeah.
It's so interesting seeing like how many different attempts there were like in the mid 90s to like sort of solidify like what navigation in 3D could be. And this is, I'll admit I'm, you know, one of the ones that always, you know, focuses on Mario 64, you know, being the be all end all of that. But there were, you know, a lot of games doing interesting things, and this was one of those attempts. I mean, even Bubsy 3D, which is, you know, something we all laugh at, is like still like a really early attempt at like figuring this out.
Ready to go?
Yeah.
I really like how that ship like has these like tubes connected to the different.
Yeah, and I'm cutting them loose.
Like the way that they like shake and bob is really cool.
See, I'm collecting this money, but I don't think that I use it for anything.
But, you know, even something like Crash Bandicoot, you know, that released, you know, pretty much right around the same time as Mario 64. Mario 64, I think, released first in the US, if I'm remembering correct, or first in Japan. It released before Crash Bandicoot released anywhere, I think. Well, I think Crash Bandicoot may have come out either just before or right around the same time as Mario 64 in the US. And, you know, I really respect what Crash tried to do too. You know, it tried to be a more linear. 3D.
Yeah, which is fun.
Which is, you know,
I mean, it's a rail platformer.
Right. I mean, it's basically a 2D. You know, philosophically, it's a 2D game, and it's, you know, design conventions, but it is in 3D, and I really respect what it tried to do there. Just like in the same way that like Mario Galaxy was, you know, much as I love like Mario 64 and Mario Odyssey and, you know, the more exploratory Mario platformers, you know, like Mario Galaxy was really refreshing in a way, kind of just going back to this sort of a little more like tackling a level and finishing a level sort of structure.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a little different where like you still had like different stars to collect like within a level, but each star scenario kind of like set you down this sort of semi-linear path path where you didn't see all the same things that you would see in the level if you were pursuing another star. So it still kind of felt like this sort of linear level-based structure again, which was refreshing at the time, you know, going back to that sort of thing.
Look at this. It's like a big as a floating frying pan with an egg in it.
Well, that's kind of awesome. That makes me think of the food kingdom, whatever that was called in Mario Odyssey. It was kind of like almost like kind of the equivalent of the lava level, except it was like boiling like soup or something. There was a couple of super chats. There was $2 super chat from Phenonymous saying, "Hey fellas, hope all's well." Well, I mean, you know, when you're playing Jumpin' Flash, how bad could things be?
That's true.
Had you had much experience with the game before?
No. Oh, I got one more left.
What made you like? Were you aware of like the fact that like the second game came with the first in Japan?
No. That was kind of the reason I got it, and then I was like, well, you know, if I'm gonna get this.
So it was just kind of spur of the moment when you saw it. Like,
yeah, and I knew that the first one hadn't come out here.
Oh, the first one hadn't come out?
Or not the first one, the third one, I'm sorry.
Third one, okay.
Sorry.
So it made sense to just get the Japanese version.
Yeah, and then I think I may have bought the third one before I bought the 1 and 2, and then I saw 1 and 2, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to get that too, you know?
This totally looks like something I would enjoy, for sure.
Yeah, and it's you know, it's not especially complex in any way, and it's just, you know, it's kind of breezy and fun, I bet. I mean, that's how I feel so far.
Yeah. And let's see. There was also. What was it? Jonathan?
I wish the hot springs would revive me a little bit. Anybody in the chat that has finished this, as they have unlimited continues, and it seems like you can save your game, but do you have to start from the beginning every time? Because a lot of these early PS1 games, you never know. You know, I always think of
some get
like Gunner's Heaven has no
memory card support, right?
Right, but this does.
Well, I think it has infinite continues.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it does.
Yeah, I don't know if there are any. There's surely some PS1 games with limited continues. There was a $5 super chat from Jonathan Henson.
Oh, thank you. Saying, my obsession with chasing video audio latency perfection and emulation FPGA and real hardware is crippling my ability to just play and enjoy games. I want to change that this year. That is a good goal for the year. You know, sometimes you just gotta let go. Oh, we got a boss. Just let go and just play a game. You know, like it's so easy to get caught up and say like, oh, notice something that's like a problem while you're playing a game.
Well, that's a big reason why I like gravitate towards console games anyway, because like it was like a big revelation when I was playing Skyrim. You know, I got Skyrim on PC first, which is ultimately good because I mean, I guess the Xbox 360 version of that was okay, but I didn't have an Xbox 360 at the time. You know, the PS3 version was horrible. But like, I like wasted like a whole day like editing like settings values like in the text file to like try to improve like the shadow resolution because I really didn't like how jaggy the shadows looked, and it didn't seem like there was that much you could do about it, at least at the time. I like wasted so much time on that, and it's like, you know, if I was playing this on a console, like I would have looked at it and been like, I wish the shadows could have looked better, but then I would have just like played the game. Like I would have stopped caring that much eventually. Yes, you know,
exactly.
Like, because it was out of my hands, I couldn't have done anything about it.
Yeah,
you know.
Yep.
So it's hard to tell in the stream, but is this game 60 frames per second? Because sometimes it looks weirdly smooth.
Yeah, I think that is not always 60 FPS, but it is a lot of
Like,
times. Other
maybe
times I feel
certain
like it kind of looks like, it almost looks like it has like a frame blending or something like that. Like, I don't know if that's...
I wonder if like the ground moves at like 60 frames per second and the geometry doesn't. Like, it looks like there's some elements that are 60 frames per second, and I can't quite tell what's going on here.
If you lose life in this game, you're kind of outing yourself. Oh, is it considered to be really, really easy?
I mean, I could see it as being a game that's not super hard.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll beat a game for the first time in a long time on stream. It's been a while since that's happened, I think. I don't know where my health is, though. I assume it's like that little thing that's hanging from the top there. But I'm not sure if that is or not.
Well, you know, getting back to Jonathan Hence's thing, you know, I wrote a lot about for the Mr. episode today.
Right.
And I've gone through so many phases of being like kind of like scared of Mr. and then just like, oh, this is easy and I can just do this. And like you saw in the games we played in 2021 video that I beat several games, especially PC Engine games on Mr. last year. Yeah, I played them on Mr. just because at the time it was convenient to play them on that instead of my system. And I also was intrigued by the color palette for the PC Engine on there, which I can't do on my real system. I can't get that color palette on my real system unless I play the composite video. And the thing is, like really all I knew how to do at the time that I was playing it and like just enjoying those games just fine. Like I knew how to do the basic scaling. I knew how to apply the interpolation filter. I knew how to set up the controllers. That was about it, and the thing was, like, I've been so scared, like, trying to, like, learn enough to write about Mr. and feel like I knew what I was talking about. And that's been challenging. And we do need to say stuff about it that, drills down into it just a little bit. But at the same time, like, we also want to present it that, like, at the end of the day, just playing games on this thing is not all that hard,
Yes, exactly.
Because it's true, and it can look very scary, and I kind of want to use my, trepidation that I've had at times with the system. I kind of want to use that as an example of, like, look, I've kind of been intimidated by this thing too, and it's really, if all you want to do is just set it up to play games in a very basic way where, you've just got good scaling and then you can just play the game. Like, you don't have to worry about anything else. Like, it's not that hard really to get to that point.
Right.
You could probably tweak a million things on a core by core basis or even a game by game basis. But at the end of the day, just using it to play games is not all that hard. And sometimes you do have to just switch off that. Gotta have it the best. I mean, this is embarrassing to admit, but in some ways I've been very comfortable with how things are with my RetroTink 5X setup to the point where I have been so lazy that I have not updated to this, amazing 2.0 update that looks incredible, and I have not gotten because every time I turn on the RetroTink, I'm like, oh well, I just want to record this thing real quick, or I just want to play this thing real quick.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm not I've actually been like I should update it, but then I'm going to have to check out the settings and stuff, and right now I'm just not in the mood to learn the new features of it. I just want to use it the way that I have been using it because it's been fine. I've been streaming some on the backlog. We've been streaming some Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still on that like 1.999 firmware or whatever the heck it is. You know, because it's just like, well, I mean, it's working just fine. It's stream time. I'm just gonna play it. I don't want to update it. You know, but I do want to update it because I mean, and I'm, you know, it's absolutely incredible what Mike has continued to do with that product. But like, I just have not gotten yet to the point where it's like now feels like a convenient time. I'm like in the right mindset to like learn how to use it again, you know, and learn about like, oh, what are the new features, you know? So I have, I guess, kind of almost been in that kind of mode recently where it's just like, I just don't want to fill with this stuff right now. I just want to turn it on and use it.
Yeah.
But I will update it eventually, obviously. You know, next time that I have to do anything advanced with it, you know, maybe I'll make it some sort of comparison with it against the Mister in the video. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I think that's.
I definitely would update. I wouldn't make a new like comparison or anything without updating the dang thing. You know.
Ooh, I want that. I want that bonus. See that Michael V has become a member. Welcome. Welcome back. Or not, or welcome for the first time. You know, it's my mom used to always play this you know, like Candy Crush on her iPad, and she used to constantly talk about how every time she plays, she just loves the fact that every time you play, this voice says, "Welcome back." She just, you know, every time she play it, she's told me that was her favorite part.
Back in the day, when me and a friend used to play Cruising USA.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you make a new, like, you know, I guess if your track time ends up in the top 10 or whatever, you know, there's this voice that says, "Welcome to the Hall of Fame." Like, for, you know, I mean, we were dumb middle schoolers or whatever, you know. I was just like, you know, just saying dumb stuff, and I just made it my thing that I always said when that voice said, "Welcome to the Hall of Fame." I always said, I actually don't feel very welcome to the Hall of Fame. And my friend like got so annoyed by it that he was always just like, "Don't say it, don't say it."
All right, there we go. Okay, I didn't realize that it shows you like little squares, like where you're supposed to go on your radar.
What? It shows you where to go? You didn't know that until just now, I guess?
Well, I knew that you could see the red dots of where to go, or like where things were.
There's like a blinking orange square.
Yeah, that was I didn't notice that before. I wonder if that shows up only after a certain amount of time.
Probably important. Oh yeah, you've got like a 2-minute countdown.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, the Tank 5
must open under certain
conditions. Big deal.
Maybe.
You know, the OSSC got a firmware update, I think, this week too.
Oh yeah.
And I think that it was being considered the final update. I'm not sure why it's not 1.0. It's like 0.89 or something like that.
Oh, interesting.
It would be cool, like if it was actually fully done. If it was actually called 1.0.
Yeah.
It deserves to be called 1.0. Look at this. I wish that this game had strafing.
It's like a Doom level.
Yeah. The only thing that it is missing is strafing.
Well, you know, at the time, like,
yeah.
at the time this came out, I don't think I even knew what strafing was.
Yeah, I'm sure that I didn't either.
There's an old I think it was a Strong Bad email episode that the Strong Bad was saying, video games can be very educational. If it wasn't for video game, I wouldn't know that strafing meant walk sideways while shooting. I mean, I certainly wouldn't have known that. I bet very few people would know what. I've never heard the word strafe used outside video game context, though.
Yeah.
Movie action choreographers or dance choreographers say okay, now you need to strafe this way.
I'm gonna die. Am I gonna die? Maybe not. The power pill music is pretty great in this. The invincibility music.
Power pill. I also like the rotating colors. That feels like very something about that spinning color pattern feels very early 3D to me.
I'm trying to see. What do you mean? Where is it?
Oh, well, when you're invincible, there's this transparent RGB overlay that's rotating through the colors. Looks really cool.
I like that all the health recoveries are rightfully carrots.
Yeah.
Jeez. Look at that.
I'm not sure what your enemies are here exactly, but seeing all of the large carrots kind of reminded me how in Kaze and the Wild Masks, all of the enemies are mutant vegetables.
No, I need that. No.
I don't know if people are talking about in the chat.
Please. Oh. I'm so close to dying, I don't want to die, and I really needed that power pill.
I feel like the pressure is on after that one person told you.
I know. Now I have to beat the game without dying? Maybe.
That sounds pretty intense, though. I don't know about that, if that's necessary. I don't know if it came up spontaneously or if people were talking about it in relation to what you tweeted, but I don't know how you say, is it ACO or ACO, that project?
Oh, yeah. Is somebody mention it?
I don't know. Well, people were talking about it. I don't know if they're talking about it that you're in the credits of the new Blu-ray.
Yeah.
You want to tell that story?
Yeah, so I've talked about it on stream quite a bit, that I am a big fan of Project ACO, the anime. I would say it's my favorite anime. There's just something about it that I think is
like you say you've talked about it on stream a lot, and I must have been zoned out because I feel like that title had not sunk into my subconsciousness. It's not something I'm terribly familiar with.
Yeah. Well, there's not really much to it. It came out in the 80s, and it's got a great soundtrack, a great pop soundtrack, and I don't know, I think that I rented it from a place just because I'd maybe seen some anime on TV, and it was always so edited and cut down because I had to remove so much that I was hungry for anything. And I think I saw it at a video store and rented it, and there's just something about it that I love. It's just really fun and weird, and it's just and it's just a great soundtrack. And and I, as someone who has not really watched any anime in 20 years, there's something about anime from that period, from the 80s, where it's just it's very soft looking, and it's very much like we saw in games at the time. And I think that's why I liked it a lot too, or why I continue to like that style so much. Anyways, I'm not sure if he's in the chat, but
Shura
Ashura is like
sometimes in the chat.
like worked on it. I think he might be like a producer on it, and like he had heard me talking about it. So like every once in a while, like he'd kind of bounce some things off me. It's like, oh, like you know, like what do you think of this little clip? How do you feel about like how it looks and everything? And it's just like very simple, like, oh yeah, it looks awesome. You know, like just talking about it, I guess. And you know, like it's just really cool. It's like really cool to see this stuff because you know, it's like it's kind of an important movie to me. For as silly as it ultimately is, like it's you know, it's you know, it's stood the test of time for me, I guess. And
now is it just a movie or a series?
the movie there's a movie and then there's like 4 or 3 more like kind of sequel like that are shorter than a movie.
You were saying that like this movie was thought to be lost.
Oh yeah. The history behind it is what's really crazy. So it is. It was released in theaters and there was like a film print of it, and then it like disappeared. And it was like so they released on like Laserdisc and it released on like on VHS, but like that the version that they had for the Laserdisc is basically what they have built every single following version of it from. Like that was like their master because like the master of it was gone. And like everyone thought it was lost, and like this is like the best it could be is like based off that Laserdisc. Well, like earlier, like either late last year or early 2021, this film master was rediscovered, and it was just like a clerical error. It was just like filed in the wrong place for like 30 years, like 35 years. And which is insane. So like this version is the first time it's like ever appeared like truly in HD. So it's kind of a you know, it's like it's a really important release as well, you know. And for me to be like a big fan of it, and then I saw that it Ashura like put me under the special thanks in the video or in the ending credits. I'm sorry, in the ending credits for this, like the additional ending credits. And like I had no idea. Like somebody in the Classic Gaming Quarterly Discord like showed it to me because I was still waiting for mine. Mine only showed up yesterday, and I don't know. It was just like it was kind of an emotional moment. Like I was not like expecting to like feel like that, I guess, and it just really like blew me away. And it's like it is so cool to have like my name in such an important release of a film that is like so important to me.
That's awesome.
And you know, it's just really, really incredible. And I tweeted it, and you know, like I got a lot of responses to that tweet, and it turns out that like a lot of people at Discotheque Media who are responsible for this release are like big fans of the show.
That's fun.
So that's really, really cool. In fact, somebody said that so there is one of the special features in it is the like the PC-88 version. Like it just like kind of shows some screenshots of the PC-88 version, and
like a version of the movie that runs
no,
on it.
No, like a game. It's like a text adventure type thing. Okay. And, you know, it was, they said, oh, we used your videos as reference of like how to like make sure these images were scaled correctly for like, you know, like the screenshots that we used.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah. So it's kind of surreal, you know, like it's just a movie. Like I have the DVD version, which comes with a soundtrack, and I have a VHS of it. And you know, it's just it's so cool to have this. Yeah, it really got me. Like that doesn't happen all that often, but like in that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, like yeah, it's just so cool to have something in this, like this movie, that like is such a big deal for me.
There was is it Aiko or Akko?
Aiko. It's A-Ko.
Okay, Aiko, because Joshua Helmke had a $5 super chat saying Project Aiko is a work of art. It takes the magical girl formula and destroys it with humor. It makes fun of a few other anime tropes as well.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it's very much like absurd. It's just there's not a lot of rhyme or reason for what happens in it, but that's part of the appeal. But I was saying, like the film master of this, like the version that was like used, like the restoration that they did, like what's cool is that it really, like, they cleaned it up a bunch, but it still like has some stuff that like it was basically impossible to clean up. Like there's some hairs and stuff like in it, like and like I wasn't sure if people were like complained about that or not, because I know that they did some restoration for it, but there's only so much that can be done. But I'm really glad that they didn't like overdo it and like just like hit it with so much like digital noise removal and stuff like that, so that it it just really what's that?
It looks like film.
Yeah, and that's kind of the cool thing about like Blu-ray, and I think that that's something that is probably like lost when you're like streaming something, is to like make it, to get the file size down, like you lose that clarity on grain and stuff like that, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, the film grain is like, it's part of what I enjoy looking at in movies. It gives it texture.
Yeah. So Johnny Millennium mentioned it in his video on Happy Console Gamer. I didn't see that. Like I saw that like that's what he said to me. Like, because he didn't know that I was like a big fan of it, and then when I made that tweet about it, he like sent me a message and said, "I didn't know you were such a big fan." It's just, I don't know, it's just really, really cool. And it's like, that is a movie that I can just put on, and like every time I put it on, like I will just like end up watching the whole thing. Like it happened yesterday. I was just like, oh, I just want to take a look at it. I want to see how it looks, and like watch basically the entire thing. And there was a while back I was like testing like a VCR for one reason or another, and I ended up just like watching, like laying on my floor, watching the entire movie on VHS, like on a PVM. And that's it's not something that happens all that often.
There was a $5 super chat from Bright Burns 1985. Thank you. Saying, I didn't know this until recently. The Analog Super NT works with the Switch Online SNES controllers if you have a SNES 8-bit DOE Bluetooth receiver. Well, yeah, and of course, original hardware as well. I've actually never tested that myself, but I believe you have to update the firmware on the 8-bit DOE receiver itself. But it's not really, it's not about compatibility with the Super NT. It's about compatibility with the receiver, because you could use that with a real Super Nintendo too, or I guess like a GBA consolizer or anything else that has a Super Nintendo controller port. But yeah, I do have a second SNES Switch Online controller. That I got with intent of using it for stuff like that, but I've never actually gotten around to trying that. I just so far I've only actually used the Switch Online controller on the Switch. But yeah, I would prefer using that controller with the SNES wireless adapter over any of the 8-bit DOE controllers, although the 2.4G ones are pretty nice. I mean, I don't think the D-pads are perfect or anything, but You know, it's certainly, I enjoy the instant connectivity of the 2.4G controllers. You know, you don't have to wait for that Bluetooth sync.
Right, and that's kind of a nice shoot.
Yeah. Are you playing this with a or are you playing this with your wireless Brook adapter?
Yeah, and I'm using
So you're using a DualShock 3.
There is a new version of this adapter coming out in the coming months that is just plugs right into the controller port and just doesn't have a wired egg hang out or anything like that. It looks just like kind of a retro receiver. I don't know what else is being added to that version, if anything, or if it's just like a form factor change. But I don't know. I might end up upgrading because
I mean, I bought a while back. I don't know if it's any good or not. Hopefully, it's good. I bought I've got one DualShock 3 that just cannot charge at all.
Right. Oh, you can replace the battery. The battery.
Well, I was going to say I bought a replacement battery a while back, and I just haven't gotten around to actually.
It's
putting
definitely
it in.
not hard to do.
Oh, so you've done it?
I've done. Yeah, I did it to one before.
Okay. I mean, I assume they're good. You know. If I were playing this, though, I would totally be playing it with a non-DualShock PS1 controller.
I know. Surprisingly, though, you can actually, if it's just like in its basic mode, you can use the analog stick, which is kind of
game.
Yeah. I mean, it just uses the analog stick in the digital mode.
Oh, but is that like a Brook adapter feature?
No. I mean, if you plugged in a real DualShock if you plug it into a real DualShock into it, if you don't turn, or maybe you know what, it might be the not the DualShock, but the one that came out that was not a DualShock. The
analog.
Yeah. It has kind of it has a digital analog mode in it on it.
Oh. I mean, neither of us have that controller, I don't think.
Right?
Oh,
I do. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Huh. Yeah. But I mean, sometimes some of those, earlier DualShock games, sometimes they can be kind of annoying. Like Parasite Eve, for example. You can't use the D-pad at all in it if you have the analog mode turned on.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It really bugged me because I don't like navigating menus with an analog stick if I can help it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay with an N64 stick, I feel, because the octagonal gate kind of makes it feel a little more straight up, straight down, left, right. It's not as bad with that to me, but in general, I mean, obviously sometimes I do. In general, I don't really love using menus with and it was to the point where the benefit of moving the character around with the analog stick was not enough to persuade me to use an analog stick to navigate the menu. So I played it with analog functionality off. Which might sound like a weird choice, but I did not mind moving Aya around with the D-pad because I mean that's kind of how I'm used to playing the Final Fantasy games on PS1. I'm pretty sure the first time that I played through 8 and 9, I did not play with the analog stick on just because I still kind of didn't like the DualShock very much at that time.
Yeah.
But I mean, I very much came around. DualShock is great, but at the time, I was really disappointed that my controller didn't come with a non-DualShock because I didn't like the extra bulk on it. But I finally came around. But those games And like Resident Evil, I prefer to play Resident Evil with a D-pad because the controls are digital anyway.
Right.
Like, you know, even on like the GameCube, like playing RE1 with the Hori pad. Good stuff.
I see the exit. I don't know where I'm going. I'm looking for more stuff here. I think I need one more. I'm guessing that might be out there. No, that's the...
Why we never get a Dream Castlevania? You know, there was a Dreamcast Castlevania prototype that like was that got like
it was leaked.
It was like released or something. You know, sometime in the past year. I've never played it. Maybe we should play that on stream sometime.
Yeah. You gonna show me where the rest of them are? I'm afraid that...
I watched...
I'm so afraid of dying. No.
I watched Joe's...
Oh, the Castlevania video?
I don't think I've seen the other episodes that he's done where he's covered like all of the earlier Castlevania games. I don't think I've seen those. But yeah, he like, you know, I guess he was started with everything that released after starting with Castlevania 64. So it was mostly 3D stuff, but you know, there was also like Castlevania The Adventure Rebirth and
right.
Stuff like that. Man, the new mobile game I thought looked really bad. Like the speed felt really wrong. Definitely looked bad. He was more down on some of those 3D Castlevanias than I am. Like I actually like the N64 ones, and I think Lords of Shadow 1 I liked at the time. I would probably not enjoy it all that much now, but I liked it at the time. Like not as a Castlevania game, but I thought it was a visually interesting game for its time. And like I thought the story was an interesting approach. It was definitely flawed, but I didn't hate entirely what they did with it. But now something that he did point out, how much he thought that the QTEs ruined Lords of Shadow 1. Mm-hmm. And he was complaining about in Lords of Shadow 2 as well. I played Lords of Shadow 2 last year. It was on my games we played in 2021. You can disable QTEs.
Oh, okay.
And Lords of Shadow 2. I don't know about the first one, but you can disable them. And 2, I don't think Joe knew that. And it makes a huge difference because I'm sure I didn't turn them off in the first game. Because that was in the middle of the era where like every game had QTEs and it was just kind of like whatever. Like no one really liked QTEs, but you just kind of accepted them.
Yeah.
Like I'm generally more easygoing on QTEs than most people, I think. But I don't think anyone actually likes them. But anyway.
Oh geez,
maybe about maybe a quarter or a third of the way through Lords of Shadow 2, I turned off the QTEs, and it makes boss fights so much more pleasant. So much more pleasant. Like it's kind of funny almost, like, you know, these parts, they're obviously supposed to be very intense and you just like automatically win. It doesn't even show the button prompt. Like it shows the animation, but you just don't have to do anything.
So it's just like kind of a cutscene, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, it shows. I mean, one of the problems with QTEs, especially in something like God of War, where like they're always doing this like super crazy stuff, like with the animations and stuff, and like you can't actually watch it because you're like paying too close attention to the button prompts, you know.
Yeah.
I did like though when eventually God of War started doing the thing where they put like triangle in the top portion of the screen and square on the left portion and stuff like that.
Oh
once
yeah,
they
it makes it
started
easier
doing
to.
that, then like I felt like you could actually watch the animations
Right.
because you could just see in your peripheral vision what button it was. As I see Kento Zero saying, I liked QTEs, Resident Evil 4, Shenmue, God of War, Ninja Blade. I mean, I have rarely thought that they like made a game bad or anything, but like I've never thought that they necessarily added anything all that much. I mean, there are some games like the Resident Evil 2 remake and Resident Evil 3 remake, and I've played several others. I can't think of other examples, but I've definitely played others where there's an accessibility option for hold to mash instead of tap to mash.
Oh, okay.
Which we've turned on like for some games like on Backloggery streams because that helps Drum's hands a whole lot.
Right.
And he doesn't have to do the mashing. I definitely turned that on for him when he played Resident Evil 2 and 3. I can't remember if I turned those on for myself in Resident Evil 2 or 3 or not, but it's like nothing I would feel ashamed of turning on just because it's like, it's not like I feel like there's like a valid challenge in mashing a button.
Okay, I get what's going on with the UI now. So that little thing hanging from the top of my pod there, it shows how many carrots I'm looking for. And when I collect them, then it fills in. So I've collected 3 of them, 3 of the 4.
3 of 4.
Yeah. There's the other one up there.
There was, first of all, there was it says Joshua Helmke, new member. I'm not sure if that's a new member or a renewal of membership, but Joshua Helmke, welcome as always, either way. And there was 199 from James Stiles saying Popeye Beach Volleyball.
That's where it's at.
We should maybe we should work that into the Mr. video somehow.
Oh yeah. What is it on again?
Game Gear.
Okay. Yes, that's definitely got to be on it.
Yeah. Well, we'll work that into one of our sections.
All right. They start sliding down the balloons, and it's like easy to fall.
I think there was still a little discussion on QTEs. There are then games where like QTEs in some ways are the gameplay, which it's kind of okay in cases like that, like where it's like more of a narrative focused game, like stuff like like I think Until Dawn has a good number of them, and like the Dark Pictures anthology. Stuff like that. I think maybe the Quantic Dream games, do they have a lot of QTs? I forget. I think
so. I mean,
I've only played Heavy Rain, I think.
Like, they are basically entirely QTs.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's okay. For like a narrative-based game, like that's okay.
For sure.
There's actually some...
There it is.
The Dark Pictures anthology actually has some that are pretty cool. I don't know if I would strictly consider them QTEs. I guess they kind of are, where there's you're like hiding from a monster or something, and you're holding your breath, and you have to. There's like this like heartbeat icon that scrolls across the screen, and you like have to hit the buttons like in time with like your heartbeat.
Yeah.
And they're actually pretty intense and cool. Like it actually works really well.
You know, I see Lucas Prusovich is saying Shenmue always has that dark mark for QTEs popular to me. You know, like it was like that. Shenmue is the game that I feel like popularized QTEs.
I mean, didn't the term come from Shenmue?
Yes, actually, yeah, it did. Definitely. I decided like I'm gonna play through. I want to play through the Shenmue games.
I do too. I mean, I have them
this year. So I was thinking about just doing all 3 of them. You know, I was talking to John Lennon. He's like, "Oh, you should play it. You know, you should." Ooh, I got some. There's a roller coaster. A little bit.
Oh, you're on Rainbow Road.
Yeah. But you know, John Lemon says, "Oh, you should play through it," because I've been thinking about it for so long. So would you play it
on Dreamcast, or would you play the HD?
No, I'd probably play the HD version, just because I feel like would be just like an easier way to do it.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I would be losing out very much.
Yeah.
But it was also him that recommended that I play through Halo Infinite. So, you know, like I decided to finally play, like, I mean, not finally, but I was going to hold out for the co-op patch for Halo Infinite. Mainly because, like, I played every single Halo game except for the second one with Matt McCheskey's brother Justin. Like we played through all of them except for the second one, because that one didn't have any kind of co-op, and that was like right after I moved to New York, and there's just no way it was going to happen.
The second one doesn't have co-op?
It has couch co-op, but it doesn't have online co-op.
Oh, okay.
So the online co-op didn't happen until the third game. But you know, like the first one came out, and we both like lived in Buffalo at the time, so we played the first game so much. Anyways, we played everything else co-op, and we were just talking about, you know, like when I would play co-op with him, at least until the fourth one, we used to do like every single difficulty. We would complete the game. You know, like he's big on getting all the achievements in games. And you know, like it's in a very impressive way. Like he plays games, but he doesn't play so many that you know, like he will choose one to kind of just focus on it. And I really admire that about him, because he's like basically, you know, like Fallout 4, he got all the achievements. It took him something like 500 hours or something like that. Wow. And he just, you know, like that's just what he decided to do. But we've always played through all of them, except, you know, we even like the fifth one, we did. But like starting with like the fourth, as soon as 343 took over, there's just something about them that made them like less interesting for me or exciting for me to play. But I was going to wait to play this one with him, but then John said, you know, like I don't even know when the co-op patch is going to be ready. Like they are saying, oh geez, I just went through it.
Oh, you like? Oh, I think it might have been like was it a conveyor?
Something like that. So every time you die, you got to collect them all again. It looks like. Anyways, he said that they don't even know when that's going to be out. So I was like, you know what? That was kind of the reason I got Game Pass. I don't know if I don't
think you like explicitly said that. So you renewed Xbox Live Gold.
Well, I was going
2 years, and you were able to add Game Pass to it for only $1.
So they have a deal right now. I mean, I think they've always had the deal, but so you can convert your Xbox Live Gold to Game Pass Ultimate for $1, and you can do up to 36 months. So, like the things that I read to do, and what I ended up doing was I still had a half a year left on my Xbox Live Gold, which you and I share.
Yeah, we share. Yeah.
And I just went. You can go and buy codes from like Best Buy, you can buy digital codes. So I bought 2 more years of Xbox Live Gold, and then you can switch it. You can switch it to Game Pass Ultimate for $1, and it's normally $15 a month. So basically, I'm getting a year and a half of it for $120.
So yeah, and which opens up, I mean, even though Game Pass is not something I have a tremendous amount of interest in, it's still it's nice to have access to it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, any game that I do like on it, I would still be oh, now I'm gonna buy a physical copy.
Yeah. Well, that's my feeling. But
if it's possible though, for example, I'm thinking next week about streaming that Cyber Shadow game, which is this sort of NES action game that everyone really loves, and I don't really know much of anything about other than that people love it, but it's on Game Pass.
And there
is no physical copy of it right now. So,
right, but I'm sure there will be eventually.
Why don't I stream that, and then whenever a physical copy comes out, I'll buy it anyway.
Exactly. So I mean, that was, that kind of stuff interests me. But for me, it was also I wanted to play Halo Infinite, but it's pointless to buy at retail right now because there's literally nothing on the disc that is usable. And I kind of came to that conclusion when I was thinking about getting Forza, because I'd heard a lot of people talk about Forza, and I thought, maybe I'll get that. It sounds fun.
I felt like it wasn't for us.
Yeah, I'm glad that I didn't buy it now. But, I heard that, you get it, and then it has, you have to download 100 gigs to play it.
Well, yeah.
And, and Halo Infinite doesn't even have the campaign, on the disc.
Well, I mean, physical games on Xbox is kind of in a dark place right now because of, they can't use the high capacity discs for compatibility purposes with the 2013 model of Xbox One. I got the medium physical copy recently, and that's a generational exclusive. That one I was able to install I disconnected from the internet just for, experimentation, and I installed it and was able to play it. But other games require you to, you can't use the last gen version of it. They want you to upgrade to, the current gen Series X version.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, otherwise, in general though, especially on the cross-gen stuff, which is basically everything right now, Series X physical games are not in a good place right now. I hope that changes, but it's definitely been a reason that we've gotten PS5 versions in many instances.
Right.
Because, we know that there is useful code on that disc. I need to catch up on Super Chats. Before I do, though, I did see where was some comment somewhere. Oh, I was, I saw, where was it?
You can really jump pretty far in this.
Oh yeah, I see Bartman 3010. This game kind of made me think a little bit too, controlling Mega Man Legends. I mean, not that I'm playing.
That was right now. I was thinking about playing that tonight.
Was mentioning Mega Man Legends and said that Mega Man Legends 1 and 2 and saying the controls in both you need to adjust yourself to, but once you do, they're darn fun to play. The thing is though, I didn't play Mega Man Legends 2 until the PS3 generation, and it blew me away how relatively modern the controls feel when you're using the dual analog, because so few games actually kind of have that aiming with the right stick thing going on. The right stick is usually pretty useless in PS1 games, and Mega Man Legends 2 feels great with the dual analog. Legends 1 is definitely a little more archaic, but there's still something satisfying about the sort of the digital movement in that game. I don't know what it is. There's just a satisfying feeling to playing the first game too. But the second game with a DualShock controller feels incredible. I just wanted to comment on that. But anyway, there was a $5 super chat from Britt McLean.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Saying, good evening, fellas. I know it's off topic, but which would be better for connecting PS2 to Retrode 5X, component or SCART? Best brand. Thanks. I mean, that's not off topic at all. I mean, we're always just rambling about whatever stuff. I would recommend component. I don't even know for 100% sure if you can you do sync on green on the Retrode? I don't even know. To be honest.
I think so. I mean, I don't know. I've never had that.
I honestly don't know. But regardless, sync on green is kind of a pain. Sync on green basically is people get confused because they think like, oh, I need to buy a sync on green cable. That's not what you do. You buy a sync on Luma cable for SCART for PS1 and PS2. You buy a sync on Luma cable. But when you're on PS2, when you're using 480p, 720p, 1080i, and any games that support those resolutions, it switches to sync on green, where sync is just put down the green line.
Yeah.
Much like how sync goes down the Luma line on component cable. You know, so it's not a special cable. It's just that the Luma sync is not used anymore. So you can do it with any cable, but like it's not compatible with certain equipment. You know, it can be a pain in the butt to use sometimes. I don't even know if the Retrode 5X supports it. I would use component. It's by far the easiest thing to use with PS2. You know, you don't have to do anything funky when you switch modes. Like, for example, if you're using sync on green, if you're using SCART on like a PVM that supports 480p or a BVM or whatever, like you have to like, if you go into 480p mode, then you actually have to like change the sync mode like manually on your PVM. And on the OSSC, like you have to change it, like you have to switch to sync on green through the remote. So it's a pain, and I do not know how compatible or if there's any hiccups using it with the Retrode 5X. I honestly don't. Component is definitely no problem. It's just the easiest thing to use all around. The quality is, you know, functionally identical. There's no like sharpness difference or anything like that. HD Retrovision is probably the best brand that you can really reliably buy right now. I don't know if they're like in stock right now or not. You know, I think you can buy them on Amazon or you can buy them through many other places as well. But that's HD Retrovision component cables for PS2 is probably the way to go. You know, the officials are also very good. The monsters are also good. I would not buy like, you know, a $6 or $10 cable. Or even like a $20 cable of just some no-name brand. Those will usually have sort of these sort of noise artifacts, and the colors will be a little bit duller, and there will also usually be audio bugs. So definitely buy a good brand of component cables, but definitely component cables. It's the easiest thing to use for the system by far. There was something that caused something else to pop into my head. What was it? Yeah. I was actually telling you, you know, there was some comments. I forget, it was probably on the PS2 RGB video. I had some back and forth replies with someone who commented on that video recently, who I had a
Is this the Gran Turismo? The HD?
I had a hard time explaining to this person that there is no official HDMI cable for PS. You know, it was a very nice exchange. You know, it was not they were not being rude in any way whatsoever. But you know, they were just like, well, that can't be right. And I don't think English was their native language, so it was, you know, we were having a little hard time conveying information here. But they had a hard time understanding that there's no like HDMI cable for PS2, because it's like, well, Gran Turismo 4 has 1080i. Like it has HD resolutions. Like there has to be.
But but it's impossible. People need to realize that it's like you don't expect it to look like a PS3 game or something like that.
But I understand where they're coming from. Like you know, like
why wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like most people have probably not really ever used HD with anything other than HDMI. You know?
Yeah.
Like I can understand that. You know, I used HD on my HD CRT with Component because there was actually some weird noise when using the DVI input from PS3. So I used Component that way. But you know, I can understand like people would either forget that or just not know that. Like I can understand that. But I had a hard time like you know, they seem to think like there has to be an HDMI cable for PS2 because these games support these features.
But
no, I'm like, no, you need Component for it. And I was explaining like the different ways that you could hook up Component to different devices that, you know, where you could get those HD resolutions. But it made me think like, you know, an interesting video might be to like, this might be a pretty extensive list. I don't know. I mean, obviously we wouldn't even own all of the games. We'd have to use like OPL or something.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I think it might be interesting sometime to just like look at all of the PS2 games, and then maybe in another video look at all of the Xbox games that support HD resolutions.
Yeah.
And just be like, do they actually look all that good? You know, does the frame rate suffer? Does it even look any better than 480p? Because honestly, from the relatively limited amount that I've done, that I've ever tested PS2 games in HD resolutions, they don't really look that amazing. Like the rendering resolution is nowhere near 1080i or 720p or anything like that. So that might be an interesting thing to explore, because I bet a lot of people, like without even like trying it out, probably think it's amazing. And like just look at HD games from that generation. I don't know. That might be an interesting. It will probably be a mostly disappointing video, but it might be interesting. Like just to have like a video that just is like the definitive coverage of you know, those resolutions on those consoles. I don't know. I think that might be interesting to do sometime.
This level is like real stressful with on the ice. You're slipping and sliding around.
Also look at HD interlace resolutions on GameCube using Swiss or GBI. I kind of forgot that was a thing you could do. There's also like, you can also like force like 1080i like for games that don't support. Like I tried like a 1080i mode on this is in GameCube, but you know, Final Fantasy 12 I tried it once because it has a widescreen mode, but it's not the most ideally implemented widescreen mode. And I did try, just out of curiosity, one time 1080i in that game very briefly. It actually looked kind of cool. I mean, like the rendering resolution didn't look very high, but it was an interesting result. Although there's not much compelling reason to do that when you could just play the Zodiac Age. But it was interesting. So to get back to catching up on this.
No. This is funny, but at the same time, it's not funny.
Are you like physically stuck or something?
No. It's just like sliding around on the ice, and you can't like perfectly see where you're jumping unless you do a double jump. and I gotta I have to get up here. There we go. Whew. I can't believe that I did it.
Oh, it didn't look that difficult.
But it feels difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just don't understand the mechanics quite enough. There was $2 from Samuel G saying Jumpin' Flash is a real OG PS1 game.
Indeed it is.
Yeah, I mean, this is the early eras. I definitely want to get some version of this for sure. Like it just looks like a darn pleasant video game. You know?
Yeah.
Then there was a $20 super chat.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, sorry it's taking us so long to get to it.
Dan Hendricks.
Oh, thank you.
And just paying back for watching like 900 hours of your videos during the last year. Well, thanks.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. You know, do we have 900 hours of videos? I doubt it.
Well, in terms, if you count streams, then for sure.
Maybe.
No, jeez.
No, I didn't see the full extent of it, but I think there was like kind of some discussion around like some game recently advertised like, oh, it was going to take you like 530 hours to complete the game. That's more hours than it would take to walk from Warsaw to Spain or something like that. It's like, oh.
My whole body was tense, like making those jumps. You ever feel like that? Where you're like,
oh yeah, I mean, that can be the mark of a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice for more games to advertise like you can beat this in 7 hours. That would sell some copies for sure.
Oh my god. Got another underground one here, or another cavern level. I'm okay with that.
For some reason, that wall texture gives me like a Yoshi's Island vibe.
Yeah, there's definitely something about it that makes it look of a different era, I guess.
Huh?
Of like a different era. Like,
yeah, it almost feels like it's from a different game.
Yeah.
There was also a $10 super chat from
thank you,
Chris Cacciatorio.
Oh,
I hope I got that somewhat correct. Thank you. Saying I've been watching your older videos lately. Just wanted to show my appreciation. Corey's Headbangers Ball game commercials video and Try Shinobi 3 video are among my favorites. Oh, that
I love that the commercials of 1998. Like it's such a I feel is such a really a unique idea for a video, and it is only just like a luck of having those VHS tapes. And it's like I think it's really cool that I was able to make that video. And that was like kind of during an era where every year you would get some sort of. I did like a couple of years where I did these videos about like videos, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you did the video game VHS tapes as well.
Yeah.
Those were really fun videos. You know, Show from he might even be in the chat here. He's been starting to get into digitizing VHS tapes.
Oh, okay.
And, like video game commercials and stuff.
Oh, man.
Trying to get like some tapes from like Japan and stuff.
That's cool.
I
have a Battle
commercial
Garaga tape I should.
Huh?
I have a Battle Garaga tape that I should digitize.
Yeah, I told him, if you pull together enough things, maybe we could do a video.
I would love to do that for sure. I mean,
he was asking me for some advice on like RetroTink 5X settings to use for like digitizing them and stuff. And I think he got it looking really good. He showed me an example of a Super Scope video that he digitized. It was looking good. I'm
like underwater here.
But yeah, that was just such a fun just like reacting to these like videos.
Yeah.
Like that was really fun.
It's almost like somebody could say they don't make videos like that anymore. About us, I guess.
There was another $2 super chat from Phenonymous again. Thank you. Saying, any chance Ad-Libs episodes make a comeback in 2022?
I'd like to. I mean, that is something that I think we've talked a little bit about. Like, we want to get you like a setup where you can just like kind of do something similar to me.
I'll be able to just, I need to get a new microphone where I can just like kind of flip that on a little easier. I would be into doing them again. Once Mister's done, and then right after that is like focusing on you want to get like do the last 2 episodes of Analog Frontiers like together, essentially, and then release them like on them simultaneously. Like the episode 4 is like already like part way edited anyway, and I kind of want to, after the Mister episode's done, I kind of want to focus on getting part 5 scripted, actually.
Right.
Before getting back to part 4, and then get part 5 started editing.
At the same time,
a lot of the graphics and stuff finished on that, and then like just kind of go all in on finishing the 2 of them, and then release them like just a couple of weeks ago. That's kind of my strategy right now of how I'm going to finish that. But after that, like the sky's
are you
the
seeing
limit.
these enemies?
That,
they're evil CRTs with SMPTE bars and bars on it.
Huh?
These enemies, they're flying evil CRTs with SMPTE.
That's fantastic.
Color bars on it.
Once that happens, I feel like on like a weekly basis, pretty much, we're just, unless there's like some like new product that's like, oh, this is definitely a high priority, we gotta do a video on this right away. Like, I feel like it's just gonna be like, we're just gonna do whatever comes to mind.
Yeah, the sky is the limit at that
point.
Sometimes
an ad-lib might be the right format for it,
Totally.
So we shall see. I think part of the problem with ad-libs before is they the way we almost made them more work than they were worth.
Yes.
We ended up we need to figure out a workflow for them that would make them like worth the most likely lesser amount of views that they would get, because we just put too much into them. I mean, I love DF Direct,
Yeah.
And that was like, they weren't doing DF Direct weekly yet, but like they were doing DF Directs just as sort of these quicker to produce episodes. And that was really the main inspiration between the MLiG ad-lib format. And I watch DF Direct like almost every week now.
Mm-hmm.
I love that format, and they've really kind of got that really figured out. Maybe. I mean, of course, they don't use like a ton of like B-roll or G-roll during that, but it's also always like stuff they already have. But like, consider in our situation, we'd be like covering topics that we like haven't covered before. So
yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
I just unloaded on that guy, on that turtle.
I would definitely like to figure out like a different way to do them, but it would probably be something that evolves, and it would just be as the topics come to us, and we, if it's the right format for an ad-lib, I could definitely see it being possible that they could come back. There was also $5 super chat from Alex Gavin. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Saying, I don't know if I should read this in the accusatory tone or not. I'm thinking not necessarily. But how come you guys never did an RGB video for Dreamcast?
It's gonna happen, and it's
gonna happen. You know,
the
RGB 200 series is not dead. It's dormant.
Yeah. And it was never meant to like we were never meant to like go this long without doing one of them.
No. It's silly and it's embarrassing that it's been so long since the 200 series video, and Dreamcast is probably the most wanted one.
Yeah.
But it's just how it happened. We ended up
taking on too many things at one time.
Too many things, and it really slowed our momentum down for a while there. But we kind of feel we feel rejuvenated, I think. Even though the last month was pretty crazy in terms of the workload, like we feel like we got our mojo back, I think.
Yes. For sure. And that's why, like I started Halo today, and I kind of feel like, like I can take a little bit of time to sit back and play some games at the same time.
I mean, I did not get as much work done this week as I intended to, but it was good to have a bit more of an easygoing week for once.
Yeah.
but yeah, I feel like I'm getting my groove on the Mr. script now, so
yeah. And I have a bit already in there, and like I have a basic, like, like I have like I think I showed you like 8 minutes of it edited, and like it needs a little bit of tweaking and stuff because that was done like back in like October actually, probably when I look at it now.
But when people notice that, there's no Dreamcast episode, RGB episode, there's no Xbox RGB episode, there's no PC Engine RGB episode, there's no Neo Geo RGB episode, don't assume in any way it's like because we like dislike those systems or anything, because we freaking love them. Especially PC Engine. I mean, PC Engine's been, one of the most fun systems for me in the past several years, just in terms of a system that I'm relatively new to, and, just have had a ton of fun just playing the games.
Yeah.
All of those things.
But at the same time, there is going to be like the upgraded DC digital coming for that too, so I'll be happy at that.
Yeah, but do we know how soon that will even be?
I don't know, like how soon it's gonna be. I don't know.
That's the tricky thing. Like there comes a point where we just can't like wait anymore.
We're beyond that point. Like we can't wait anymore.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be something on the horizon.
Yeah. Exactly. The music's pretty good on this level too. This game has really good music. It just feels very classic game music.
There was $2 from Shadow Mask.
Thank you.
Saying follow up. What are your must be RGB consoles? I mean, if I'm being entirely honest, I mean, if I didn't have RGB mods, it's not like I wouldn't play my NES.
Yeah.
But I will admit that getting the Framemeister was a big part of what got me into Genesis, because there was this
because it just looks so good. I remember.
Yeah, I mean, there was this, and of course, there are people who are just like, "Oh, you should never use anything but composite on Genesis." But at the time, I was like, there's some Genesis games I want to play that aren't on Virtual Console, because that was a big way that I explored. That was one of my earlier. I did a little Genesis emulation back in high school, but not a lot. My real, first deeper exploration of Genesis was the Virtual Console. Of course, I could play these games in Component. In 240p. Of course, I didn't really know I was playing it in 240p. But
right.
I was. I remember, it's not Genesis, but I remember, the Toshiba CRT that I have here. It lived at my parents' house for a while. I remember taking my Wii to my parents' house and playing Phantasy Star in Component on that CRT, and I'm like, wow, why does this look so good? I didn't know, it's because it's 240p. But at the time I was using this Sony receiver that was able to output composite and S-video as Component. And don't go, oh, what model was that? Because it is. I would not trust it today. I would not want to record composite or S-video in that way. Because I'm sure that it had I know that it did some stuff to the colors. The colors weren't entirely accurate. I'm sure it was not an amazing conversion or anything. But just connecting to that old HD CRT, and then ultimately how I streamed with very rudimentary stuff at that time, it was fine. It was fine at the time, but that was how everything was hooked up. It was hooked up through that AV receiver, and component systems, S-video systems, composite systems. And at the time I was I really want to play Castlevania Bloodlines and Contra Hardcore.
Yeah,
they aren't on Virtual Console. But I don't want to add, I want NES to be my only composite system in my setup. I don't want another composite system in my setup. And I thought that's all. I thought that's all Genesis could do, was composite and RF. I thought that's all it could do. And then when I, got the FrameMeister and learned that the Genesis actually has RGB without a mod, then that kind of opened up the way to Genesis for me. So for me, I guess in some ways that's but I have an appreciation for how Genesis looks in composite, but I definitely prefer to play it in RGB. Definitely prefer to play it in RGB. But NES definitely has an interesting character, a nostalgic for me character, and I'm sure for other people, Genesis Composite is nostalgic for them. But at the end of the day, if I did not have RGB, I would still be playing my systems in composite and S-video in some fashion and being okay with it,
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, sometimes just playing a system in composite, there's a texture to it that, it's I can kind of get into this for a little bit. But, for my main setup though, I do prefer RGB, but, it's not a must for everything. Definitely the least must be RGB is N64. Keyboard is nice, but it's not ideal for all games. I prefer it for most games, but not all games. And the jump from even S-video, from the jump from composite to S-video is just not that big, because N64's composite is really clean for composite. Yes, there are some artifacts. You'll see some, some of that noise and the reds and stuff, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It is, and I think it's mostly because the signal is so blurry to begin with. There's not enough detail for composite to really wreak havoc. If I'm being honest, that the N64 is the obvious best use case scenario for the RetroTink Mini, which I was replying to a comment recently, and I was going to link the RetroTink Mini, and I think it's out of stock right now. I don't know if
the Mini.
Oh,
maybe.
The Mini.
I haven't looked
I don't know
if
more are planned to be made. I hope so though, because it's such a good product. It's so easy to recommend to people, especially people who are mostly I want to stream N64. Or people, the example was someone was talking about NES. What do I need to play NES in this way? Do I need an RGB mod? And I'm well, RetroTink Mini's not bad for it.
It fills a specific niche. You know,
Yeah, I mean, I do not mind NES composite on the Retro Tank Mini. I think it's a great, very easy to use solution for that kind of thing. But
I wish I knew where this stuff was. There. It's up there.
I'm falling a good bit behind on super chats here. Stay here.
It's up there. I love the power pills. I can check if you want me
okay,
to.
yeah, here we go. I'm good.
I see a Yo-Yo Yoshio as well.
Yeah, well,
after Blue Mist.
I see it.
Okay.
Yep. There was a very deep question from ZD with a $10 super chat. Saying, what are your plans for the future?
Oh man.
That's I mean, speaking about the channel specifically, I mean, we were kind of talking about how once, I'm going to work on after the Mr. episode. You're going to do whatever you're going to do next, and then I'll be working on.
Well, I'm going to be helping you with Analog Frontiers as much as possible because I want to get it done too. I just want us to be, I'm excited to once that's done, I'm definitely going to make a return to the EGM stuff that we did a long time ago.
You should work on something when I'm getting started on working.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Do something just fun and lightweight.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I'm saying after Analog Frontiers is done, that I would like to do the.
Yeah, you should do something just like I did the Super Scope video. I mean, that was.
Yeah.
That was such an easy breezy video to do. I mean, it was, that was 16 days of work from, starting to play the games and writing the script to a finished product. And I didn't overwork a single day. I mean, that was a good video. In terms of the production, that's one of my favorite production. That's probably that was the closest to what my ideal of what daily life should be. those 2+ weeks working on that Super Scope episode, that was good. So I want to recapture that. I mean, plans for the future. I want to be able to recapture that process relatively consistently.
Yes.
Just where not work. I mean, there's going to be times where you have to crunch a little bit. But as a general rule, I want to be able to get a good video like that Super Scope done in, a reasonable amount of time without overworking. That's my model for the future of my life and my life in gaming. But yeah, and then there was $6 from Mega X6, but with no comment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As always.
And also, there was the Blue Mist donation is 500 yen.
Ooh, you buy a copy of Robbit Mandu with that.
I might.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it still sells for that, but if Book Off in 2018, you could have.
I'm going to go eBay right now and see if I can get Robbit.
Robbit Mandu.
I can't even say it. It's so funny. Robbit Mandu. PlayStation. I can't even practice. I'm laughing so much.
Mandu. Isn't it it sounds like it's French.
Mandu. Oh, it's $18.
Okay.
Robbit Mandu. What a great name for a video game. Robbit Mandu. And the fact that it comes from Japan.
Yeah.
A name like that came from Japan is just so funny to me.
I'm so afraid to do this part right here.
Yeah, but yes, thank you for that. Saying cheers from Japan. I usually work during this time. It's holiday today. When I tune in to you, you guys, I get enticed to check off book offs for retro. I mean, this came from book off.
Yep.
This came from what? Do you remember? Was this from Kashiwa or was this?
It was the one that we went to like the day that we left.
Oh, so it was Ueno.
Yeah.
Yeah, we stopped at Ueno. We stayed the last like 2 nights.
This is so stressful.
We stayed in Kashiwa for the first like 4 or 5 nights or however many it was, and then the last 2 nights were Ueno. And so yeah, we were just like killing time before we had to make our way to the airport, and we did some last minute book off in Ueno. I got the Suikoden 1 and 2 soundtracks at that book off, and I think I got like Dragon Quest 8 because again that was another one of those 108 yen games, right?
Yeah.
It was just like, why not? I'm pretty sure I got a few other things there. I remember that the clerk there asked us where we're from. We're just like very generically like, oh, we're from America. I think that must have been obvious to him. He was like, yeah, but where from?
Yeah.
And you're like, Ohio? And he's like, oh, Ohio. And, I've since learned that, like, I mean, it's obviously spelled differently, but, like, Ohio is, like, good morning in Japanese. But I was telling people, I mean, you always say, like, oh, I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. Because, like, I mean, you practically are, but technically you're in Kentucky. But I was telling you, when we're in Japan, you should tell people you're from Kentucky because I think they would be like way more impressed that you're like you're from the state of KFC. Like
Maybe,
they call KFC, they just call it Kentucky. Okay, they call it Kentucky for short. I'm gonna go get some Kentucky.
I died.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh, I gotta continue too. It's the first continue I've had to use. Okay, so when you lose all your lives, it sends you back to... Luckily, I hadn't moved to stage 2 yet.
Okay. But yeah, man, I want to go back to book off so bad. I mean, I just... I want to go back to Japan so bad. I mean, it just... Like, I don't even know if there would be a work purpose to it. I just want to go back.
Yeah.
I want to go back, but... go all those good stores, Nakihabara.
I don't even know what you'd be like looking for this time.
Well, I don't know either, but I would definitely be buying way too much stuff. I know I'd be doing it. I know I would.
I'm gonna do
there
this
was $1.99 from Elizabeth Smith. Thank you.
Thank you.
Saying, are you doing a surround sound episode? I mean, we're really not the people to do. I mean, I'm sure we'll show like how we have things set up. In our update game tours videos.
That'll be the video that I do after.
Oh yeah.
That'll definitely be the video that I do after
Mister.
Yeah,
that'd be good. But I mean, we both just use 5.1. I mean, do you even use a subwoofer right now?
Yeah.
Okay. I know if you have a subwoofer right now. But like we both just use 5.1. Like I do want to do Atmos eventually. But like, I honestly like don't know a lot about like the different like formats and stuff like that. And we don't I'm definitely not an audiophile. Like I like good sound, but John Linneman would actually be really good.
Yeah.
Because he's like way into that. I mean, I think he's got like 7.1 or 9.1 with Atmos or something like that. I definitely have like, I guess, advice for people you know, who want to do a simpler setup, but I'm just not. I don't think we're really equipped to wow anyone with our surround sound setups or knowledge. But they'll definitely come up in our tour videos for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done some pretty cool stuff with like in-wall speakers and stuff.
Yeah. I'll show that stuff in the.
Yeah.
I
mean, it'll come up tangentially, but
it's so weird. There's nothing over here. I'm gonna die, man. What? I gotta get good here. I was doing so well for so long. Oh, yeah.
Let's see, where were we next? There was.
I just can't find this last one.
There was a $5 super chat from Snowichi1. Thank you.
Thank you.
Saying, hello, have you heard of the MX4 ISO, a ROM player through a hacked memory card for PS2? I haven't heard of that specifically, but I would assume that like for I don't know that much about like playing like game backups, if you want to call them that, through like a PS2 Slim. Like obviously you can't use like a hard drive, like it doesn't have the hard drive bay. Like, do you know much about like
no, not
how
really.
you load ROMs? I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a way to do it on a PS2 Slim.
Yeah,
no,
but I
don't
haven't
know
done anything with that.
specifically. I mean, I would definitely be nervous about like compatibility and like read-write speeds. I mean, I think like OPL is kind of considered the gold standard at the moment of like PS2 loading, but I assume you have to do that with a PS2 FAT. I really need to get that set up, but yeah, I don't know that product specifically, but like I mean, obviously, like I do know of like homebrew that can be installed on memory cards, like you know the whatever the homebrew launcher stuff that I have on right now, like with the GSM, you know, the graphic synthesizer thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's actually something in general I don't know a ton about.
I gotta start using my sub weapons a little bit more. I'm trying to find a sliver of health left here.
And I think I'm caught up now. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Yeah. Let's see if I can. I don't want to die and have to do it again. I don't know why I'm having a hard time with this level. Can you look at how many worlds are in this? I'm on world 5 right now. I really need.
Is it like an old person thing? Like the first thing you do to find game information is go to GameFAQs?
I don't know.
Do younger people do that or no?
I would assume so.
I mean, I would. You'd think. I think younger people go for video walkthroughs these days, don't they? There are 6 worlds.
Okay. I wonder how long the last world is.
Free time.
See, I know that there's this one. I got that one before.
Oh, surround support in like N64 games. You know, that's something I actually don't know a lot about. Like Dolby Pro Logic and stuff. Like I don't even really like on a technical level. Like I've not really read up that closely on, but like on a technical level, like I don't even like understand how that's like possible. Like I've never like seriously used it, and like I think I've done some I did some Pro Logic stuff when I first got my first surround system. I think I didn't. I honestly couldn't even tell you if I was using it correctly. You know, back then. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that I didn't understand about it. I think. But you know, I'm honestly happy with like 5.1 right now. Like,
yeah, same here.
Like I kind of want Atmos, but like you know, I think like support for it can be kind of funny. Like John says that like when Atmos is in use on Xbox Series X, and like I don't think PS5 even supports Atmos. Like there's some like delay, like a frame or two of delay. I think when using Atmos. I don't know, you know, if it can be fixed or not, but like that kind of makes me less like all excited to really worry about Atmos, I guess. Like, I just like do not have any real interest in like getting like 7.1 or anything.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of work. For sure.
5.1 gives and space for the speakers, you know, like 5.1. Gives me, I'm very satisfied with the surround effect that I get from 5.1. You know, it's, and I like the speakers I have. You know, I would have to get like new speakers that like match the tone of the ones I already have. You know, it just seems like a lot of work to add to it. I'm not all that excited about getting a new receiver.
Yeah, I mean that's just something I'm waiting on to wait till.
I mean, because I'm thinking about paying attention to when the LG C2 OLED is going to launch, and just like doing a review on it, like reviewing it. I mean, not for games specifically, right?
Yeah.
You know, modern and retro. Not quite anything like I did for like the big 4K TVs episode, but like just do a review of the C2. I mean, we've never really done anything like that, but like that's going to be like the main TV that gamers are looking at for the next year, you know?
Yeah.
So, like I just thought it'd be interesting to just try doing a review of it. And so I'm thinking about just like trying to buy one like right away, because you know I'm looking to upgrade over my.
Oh my gosh, is it going to be over here? Because that's like really tough to. If it's like up on that. Sorry.
You're getting stressed.
Of course, it's like up there. Yes. Finally, I found it.
But
come! I don't know what I just hit, but I must have hit some sort of ceiling or something. I bet that needs to like.
I think there might be an enemy above you.
I'm gonna. Oh, there is. Did you miss the Yo-Yo Yoshio?
Or did I just not get to it yet?
Let's go again.
The game over screen at like
yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yes. Sorry about that. There was why do you think people who grew up with console games tend to like scanlines more than people who grew up with PC games where scanlines were considered a thing to be avoided? Also, I missed the last one before that. Oh, sorry. I apologize. The color coding is different, and my eye just like glossed over it because like there's other things with the other color codes, and I keep looking at the red ones. I apologize for that. I'll get back to that one after talking about this. I mean, it's weird to me because like I definitely did not have TVs back back in the day where like scan lines were like really visible in any way. Like, did you? Like,
no, it's not, that's not something I thought about at all.
Yeah, I mean, it was not like perceived games as pixels.
Yeah,
you know, and of course on PC modders, scan lines are also a thing if the resolution is low enough. Like you can see the separation between the scan lines. Yeah, you know, I've definitely seen people leave comments like that, like, "Oh, like scan lines aren't a thing that you want to achieve. Like this, it's, you know, a negative artifact of the technology." And I can see where that's coming from. You know, it's I don't know. Like I have an appreciation for the look, but I don't consider it personally like a, you know, required part of, you know, the game's aesthetic by any means. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just that PC games were like played typically at, you know, resolutions that usually would have been at least double the console resolutions. And you just were much less likely to see that scan line separation effect. But even then, like, I really wonder how many people really had TVs that were good enough where you really saw that effect. I don't know. I mean, it is interesting for me how, you know, common the love of scan lines is. But I love scan lines on real CRTs, and I've actually been appreciating artificial scan lines more and more over the past year.
Yeah, well, there's some really interesting stuff happening too.
2021 like was a good year for scan lines.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, and then there's also the analog pocket too.
That's why we should have said that in the year-end video. It's been a real good year for scan lines.
It was an incredible year for scan lines. You know, I mean, Mister is getting expanded options too. You know, there was the RetroTink 5X, the N64 digital, like hardware-based scan line and CRT aesthetic replication. It advanced like half a decade in 1 year.
Yeah,
like it was a huge jump from, you know, them just being just very simple scan lines to being quite complex, and then, you know, all of these different formats are almost like competing, and you know, it's real. They're all coming together to, like, you know, sort of make scan lines better. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting, and I myself find myself even more into it. So the earlier Yo-Yo Yoshio, I apologize. And I love the graphics in these early 3D games. It's like it's like a spot the stock SGI assets. The modern day equivalent would be Unity with the asset store. And early 3D games seem to really push the polygon limits, especially something like Kingsfield. Kingsfield is a game that definitely intrigues me, and I would like to sort of explore it a little bit more. There is an interesting sort of lived-in aesthetic, you know, to the world that is interesting to see in early 3D. I mean, I don't know about like stock assets. Is that really a common thing in some of these early games? Like maybe a building asset or something like that they just like put a new texture on or something. I don't know. It's not something I really thought about. Like, I don't know that much about like if it's really all that common in like Unity games, or at least Unity games that would be on our radar, you know, not just like mobile gotcha games or something that would you really commonly use like stock assets. I don't know. I mean, Unity games can be very, very, very impressive.
Yeah, for sure.
Done well, but you know, it's people get nervous because people often do not use Unity well. Yeah, I mean, I love the early 3D game aesthetic too. You know, there was someone, I don't know if they're still around. There was someone early, before the stream even officially started. We noticed a comment in the chat saying, um, saying something about like the problem with like FPGA emulation is that they couldn't like increase like the rendering resolution of PS1 games, you know, and it's, you know, it looks so bad. And like, I disagree. Like, you know, I am assuming that like and for what, I don't even know if that's necessarily true. Like if you had enough power, like, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't know why it wouldn't be possible to increase the rendering resolution on an FPGA. But like, as of right now, it's not something that would be really feasible or targeted. Like, yeah, sure, the Mr. PS1 core is like almost definitely going to be using you know, 240p and 480i, I guess. And that's fine. Like, to me, like, yes, I do kind of like it when games are upscale, when like you get like, you know, HD N64 games and stuff like that. But like at the same time, I feel like the game has a more cohesive, unified look when everything is in 240p. You know, the interface, the 3D graphics.
Yeah. We were kind of talking about this like before the.
Yeah, even the texture quality. You know, the way that the textures stream in from a distance and the level of detail management and stuff like that, like all of that, like the resolution was part of those factors that were designed and, you know, considered when designing the game's aesthetic. This level looks really cool.
It does.
I like the colors of the buildings. But you know, like I feel like, I mean, yeah, like playing like Mario 64 in HD is cool, but I don't know. I still just like the original resolution. Like I feel like it is a more true representation of the experience, and I'm not immediately turned off by like low res 3D graphics. In fact, I kind of love it. I think I might be falling behind again already. One moment here.
This is like, I'm not gonna make it. Oh, I did. Some of these jumps, you feel like you're not gonna make it, and it's like the best feeling when you do.
There was $2 from Sony File. Thank you. Saying Super Audio CD maxes out at 5.1. That's all you need. I mean, how many Super Audio CDs are even in existence? I wonder.
For real.
I assume that is like a super underutilized format, but I honestly don't know for sure.
I just like the sign just says jeans.
Get you some jeans. I mean, I know that like a lot of AV receivers, you know, have like, you know, inputs marked like, you know, SACD audio. But I wonder how much it was really used. I'm sure in some communities it was probably considered a big deal. You know, I read something, you know, thinking about audio files. I read something recently where like someone designed and like had like a bunch of beta testers on a forum for this like SSD, like an M2 SSD that has these like capacitors on it that are supposed to like filter noise and make your music sound better. And like there's like people on this forums like, oh, I'm very interested in this idea, and it's like, there is no way that like the SSD, like anywhere that is processing on your computer, generates noise that gets in the way of the audio. There's like no way. I don't know what the conclusion to that story is, but that's fascinating.
This is like some of these jumps, man.
There was 25 QARs from the Art of Tech. From I'm starting to read the comment before the name. From PS Faz. I don't know how to say it. Thank you. Saying the art of text-only walkthroughs is lost, I feel. Especially miss the ASCII headers. Looking forward to Analog Frontiers Part 4 and other 22 content. Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I will admit, though, I do like when I go to new GameFAQs games and I see, like, the HTML. It's definitely easier to, like, jump from chapter to chapter.
Find what you need, yeah.
Size up, like, the section that you're looking at. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely an art of another time. I definitely hope that written walkthroughs and game information like continues to be a major force because, unless it's like I just do not understand like this final boss, I have to look up a video.
Yeah.
Those times happen. But generally, like, if I'm just like so confused and don't understand what's going on, like, I want to look up written information.
Yeah.
So, I know we make videos, but all you people who do good writing stuff, keep on writing. I appreciate it. There was also a $5 super chat from Rad Ranger with no comment, but thank you as always.
Thank you. There was also you're catching up.
I'm catching up. I see the new Yo-Yo. Oh well, I'll read this since Yo-Yo Yoshio might be checking out, saying, "All right, been fun watching you guys and inadvertently making Tri-Panic over donations. It's almost 3:30 a.m. here, so see you next week and have fun." Well, thank you. And we'll see you next week too. You have fun through the week if you can.
This boss feels like a treasure game.
There was $5 from Mo Zamboni. Thank you. Saying we're following up on Scanlines. People buy McDonald's cheeseburgers not because they are the best out there, but because if they remind people of a happier time. I mean, there's definitely something to be said for that. Although, I have to admit, like, I have not been to McDonald's in probably like 2 years at this point. But and McDonald's has always been like.
I feel like as someone who has kids, I go to McDonald's way too much because, kids.
Kids love McDonald's.
They love McDonald's, yeah.
I did too, But like, over, as I got older, like Moe's became. I'm getting all my words mixed up. It was Mo Zamboni that made the donation. Moe's, no, McDonald's. Like McDonald's became like bottom tier fast food for me.
Yeah.
But like over the past few years have like I don't think I'd ever had a Big Mac until like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of a bit of a revelation, like oh,
like I say, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good, actually. Like, so, like, that's not nostalgia for me, but it's also like, I guess it's the same kind of nostalgia that you would get from like, an upscaled retro game or something like or like like an HD port of a PS2 game. It's that kind of nostalgia, right? Where it's like
hang on, this guy's talking.
Huh?
Look at this guy.
Oh, that guy's awesome.
He's like the main bad guy.
I love this guy. He's got a monocle and just looks like a grumpy Japanese dude.
I gotta use the bathroom. I'll be right back.
That guy's amazing. I mean, I guess it's like the I never had before, but I never had Big Mac before, but it's like an HD version of the trash, fast food hamburger I grew up with, right? So it's like it's nostalgic, but also new and different to my adult tastes. And my adult tastes are basically I love fried chicken. I would not consider myself to have refined tastes of anything, but Big Mac is a pretty good burger. But no, I mean there's way. I mean, in fact, like I'll actually eat like fast food chicken sandwiches like all day long. But like I don't get fast food burgers very often. I love Arby's. Arby's doesn't have burgers, but I love like Arby's roast beef sandwiches and like Arby's gyros are like really good. I like Whopper. Whopper's a good burger. I like Whopper. I like Wendy's burgers. But like usually like when I get a burger, like I get a burger from like a nice burger joint. Like there's like a local burger place that opened up here a few months ago. They got really good burgers and really good fries. Like I want a quality burger when I get a burger. But like chicken sandwiches, I'll eat that from anywhere. See Mo Zamboni saying vinegar-based barbecue, right, Triforce? Well, I actually had barbecue today. I actually had a barbecue sandwich today.
Oh.
And it came with a cup of vinegar-based sauce and a cup of, other barbecue sauce. And I just put both on it. I like both. I think vinegar-based barbecue sauce is definitely more of a taste that I've acquired in more recent years. I didn't really like vinegar much of anything until, not all that long ago. But honestly, I think my favorite barbecue sauce is like South Carolina mustard based. That's really good. I really like South Carolina barbecue sauce.
This music. Whoa.
But back to the super chats.
The music is great on this level too. Yeah. It doesn't quite feel like a last level. In a good way. Like wow, wow, wow.
I mean, you're like jumping it above the atmosphere.
Yeah.
This is kind of amazing. There was $2 from Gaming Blows.
Oh, thank you.
And just want to say, I love you guys.
Thank you. We love you too. Thanks for sticking around for so long.
Backyard burger is delicious. I don't know if I've ever had backyard burger. I always assume it's like very similar to Cookout, which I think is not all that widespread of a chain. So I don't know if everyone knows what Cookout is. But it's like, it's kind of got that. It's a burger that's, a fast food burger, but it kind of has that backyard grilled flavor to it.
And they're the ones with the really good milkshakes, right? Or is that Cookout?
I mean,
or is they have like
yeah, I mean, I think you might have had milkshake when we went there. Like I don't know what the prices are now because it hadn't been a while, but like they've got like that like really crazy like $5 deal where you just get like so much food.
Yeah.
I think if you pay an extra $1, you can get a milkshake with that deal. Their milkshakes though, I think are like too thick, like or just like too frozen, I guess. Like I feel like if a milkshake is like a consistency or level of frozenness that you can't drink it with a straw, then it shouldn't be called a milkshake, you know? Like if I wanted
it's
that,
basically you just get ice cream.
If I wanted that, I'd get like a Blizzard or something, right?
Yeah.
Which I do love a Blizzard. Blizzard has kind of become one of my favorite forms of ice cream over the years. Blizzards are great. Lucas Peruzovic says Jack in the Box got banned in my state. Are you serious?
Why?
They got kicked out of Maryland for using horse meat in the 70s. Are they still banned? That's pretty crazy. You know, my first exposure to Jack in the Box was
you know, I just want to say really quick before you get into the Jack in the Box stuff. Like, it definitely speeds up and slows down, like the frame rate speeds up, and sometimes it can like really throw you off.
Yeah, it's interesting. I do see it getting like smoother at times. It's interesting. Yeah. Hey, you know, early 3D game. You know, they were still figuring things out.
Right.
And it looked like they overall did a good job considering, you know, how early this was. My first exposure to Jack in the Box was, you know, I think several people died in like the early 90s from like E. coli poisoning at Jack in the Box.
Oh. Your first experience at Jack in the Box was several people died.
Like that had like just happened, and like
just the fact that like my first experience with Jack in the Box was several people died.
The first exposure, like I'd never heard of.
I know.
And like, you know, my mom was like acutely aware of this, and we went to Washington State. Like it was in '93, and you know, on vacation, and like it was the first time I saw Jack in the Box, and my mom's like, "You don't want to eat there." Which, you know, I mean, when things like that happen, like I generally assume like, well, this place has like had this like huge like PR catastrophe now. Like they might actually be like the safest place now.
Yeah.
They're like we really gotta do it right now.
Just one more.
You know, I just learned today. Have you ever heard of Capriotti's? It's a sandwich shop.
No.
So
the tennis player.
Well, it was founded in Wilmington, Delaware. You know, which I lived in that area for.
Yeah.
You know, all my middle school and high school years. You know, so I lived there a long time. And you know, it was just, you know, one of the it was a small local chain. You know, that was all I knew it for. Well, my mom texted me a picture today of Capriotti's, and they picked up lunch from there today. I'm like, what? And it turns out like they opened, you know, it's in South Carolina, but like the you know, the Charlotte area, I guess, is getting like 10 Capriotti's locations over the next few years, I suppose. And like the first one just opened recently, a few months ago, I guess. And my parents my parents checked it out today, and like I'm like, what? This is crazy because like I had no idea that was like outside of like Delaware and Pennsylvania, and then I looked it up, and it's so weird because it's like it's owned by like this company in Nevada now, but it was founded in Wilmington, Delaware,
and it's there,
and now it's like expanding.
Look at the guy's face at stage 3. Do you see him?
Yep, that's amazing. But yeah, now this little place that was just at the time I lived in Delaware, it was just this local place.
Oh man!
And now I like suddenly discover that it's like over the past like couple of decades, like expanded like all over the place.
This is a gotta fight this guy. He must be my rival.
Oh, he's like he's
the dark
he's
Robbit.
The dark Robbit, mon Dieu. It's like the guy in Rocket Knight.
Yeah.
So this whole level just seems to be a boss arena.
I'm very okay with that.
Level, yeah, that's fine. Robbit mon Dieu. Show says this boss fight was everything back in the day. Look at that audience. It's not great.
No.
But what do you expect?
They're exactly what they need to be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if audiences are like even like in Forza 5. Like I haven't looked at them all that close, but I'm not even sure if those are all that great. So me and Coury, you talked earlier about how you added Game Pass to our shared Xbox Live account.
Yeah.
And we both tried out Forza
Verizon.
Forza Verizon. Forza Verizon. I can't say it. Verizon 5. We both tried it out.
Forza Verizon. Verizon Wireless.
I don't feel like it's really for me. Like I feel like it's too fast for a game with like semi-realistic. Whoa, look at this guy.
Yeah.
You know, for some reason he makes me think of like his shape makes me think of that big like robot boss that you fight with, like all of those rabbit enemies, the Brutals in Mario Odyssey, like
Brutals.
Huh?
The Brutals.
That's what they're called. In Mario Odyssey, like when they like join together in that robot fight, in like Bowser's Kingdom, like for some reason this guy's shape makes me think of that big robot. But anyway, like I feel like Forza Horizon is like it's like too fast for a game with like semi-realistic driving controls.
Yeah.
Like
I just wanted to play
very well, and
I just want to play Burnout Paradise.
Well, I mean, and like driving like to the different races is like such a, like I'll tell you what I when I used my Game Pass 2-week free trial while I was working on the Projectors episode, I downloaded Dirt 5. I downloaded it again and messed around with it a little bit more. Like that game feels much more my speed, like literally, I guess. Like it's a slower paced game with like more. It's more like off-roady driving. Like it makes me kind of think of like Top Gear Rally, which is a game I've always kind of had a soft spot for on N64. Like when Dirt 5 gets like $20 or less, like that's definitely a game I can see myself in.
Yeah.
I kind of like what I've played of it. But Forza Horizon 5 is just. I mean, it's obviously very well made, but it's not. I just don't think it's my kind of racing game. Because especially considering every time I try a modern racing game, I'm just so bad at it. It's so hard for me to control them, and I always just I can never I'm always in last place. I'm just so bad, and anything that's not Mario Kart or F-Zero these days. I was doing pretty good in Dirt 5.
I may have beat it.
Oh man!
Unless there's not a. As long as there's no follow up.
Might be some bonuses. So does this game not seem to have a memory card?
It does. It does.
You only
Oh.
damage my base slightly. Prepare yourself, Robbit. Now my minions are really ready for you. I, Baron Aloha, am invincible.
His name is Baron Aloha.
You ain't done yet.
That's amazing. Hodori Hanzo 2 says, I'm guessing you're always on the accelerator try, and you're right. That's a habit that's just very hard for me to break. Because Mario Kart, that's what I play. There's not much reason to go off the gas. I prefer digital on-off acceleration in racing games.
What is extra one?
I don't get into the gradations so much. I want to go full speed, and I want to do drifting and cool stuff like that.
So what is extra? Extra one. I don't know if it's. I think it's just another loop.
Good try. You have to treat these games like driving in real life. Do you hold the gas in real life? Well, no, obviously, but. The thing is, even let's say open world games or something where you can drive around the world. And I try to drive semi-realistically in those games, and I just feel like it's almost not possible. I've never felt like I could go a normal speed. If I was just to go, 40 to 60 miles per hour and a moderately realistically controlled driving game. I've never felt like I'm capable of actually making my driving at that speed look or feel like how I would drive a car in real life. It is never lined up for me.
Yeah, I mean, I just found myself wanting to crash, and that's just what I like about Burnout games, and what I just like about, just driving games in general.
But yeah,
so I mean, it was cool. The craziest part about it is that you can choose your name, and it calls you by your name.
No, it's not even you choose your name. It's just your profile, your Xbox Live profile, and they're calling me Marc.
Yeah.
For
me, they called me Coury, but I had to choose it for it to be Coury. I had to pull from a list. So maybe mine, it couldn't figure it out. Maybe
it couldn't. Yeah, mine it never asked. It just started calling me Marc right away, and I was kind of mind blown. But the other funny thing is, we both tried to enter our license plate as MLiG, and it was a banned word, apparently. But yeah, that was funny. Well, I took a photo of it. Let me see what did it say exactly? It says inappropriate content. You specified something that was blocked by the language filter. Please try again.
Maybe somebody out there knew that it was going to be us that wanted to do it.
But yeah, I'd never had that experience before where game characters just called me by my name.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I generally don't really like, but it was kind of impressive in this. But it's also kind of weird, too, because, like, you have this, like, British accent.
Yeah.
Like, I was not expecting, like, you to be, like, a character in the game. Did you choose a prosthetic appendage for your character?
I didn't.
I had to. I was like, that's awesome.
So can anybody tell me what the extra is? Is it just like another loop of the game? I need to know. Because there's no ending credits.
Same levels? They don't look the same.
No, these are like I don't think they are.
I think these are different levels. Let me look at that game facts again. Because there was a section at the end that says secrets. Extra mode. Extra mode is available after you beat the game once. You can press left and right by game start, and then you say extra one beside. These stages have the same terrain as before, but the locations of items have changed, and you have a shorter time limit.
Oh yeah, look at that. I only have 2 minutes. So there's no credits before. I guess.
Super mode, if you beat the game without continuing, then you get this mode unlocked. In super mode, you can jump 6 times instead of 3.
So it's just basically kind of a free mode, it sounds like.
Yeah. I didn't know you can jump 3 times in the air before landing.
Can you jump 3 times? I've always jumped twice. You mean the whole time I've been able to jump 3 times? And I've been jumping.
Did you just try it?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you can. Or maybe in secret mode you can.
I don't know. It doesn't specify it. So it sounds like you would have to unlock super mode by being the game without continues to call it complete. But I'd say you can call this beat on your backlog.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You can call this beat.
I can't believe that. Have I always been able to, okay, you can always. I've always been able to jump 3 times. I feel like that would take away a lot of the, crazy close jumps that I made. So I'm happy that I didn't.
Yeah, you did a master run and you didn't know it.
Yeah.
Free time.
I feel like I had a similar experience in a game recently, and I can't think what it was. What was it? Let me look at the games that I've finished recently. See if I can.
Okay, you can jump twice in the air from the start. Okay, So the initial jump, then 2 more times. Wow.
What am I thinking of? I feel like I played something recently where I was like, oh.
I sort of want to try out the second one real quick.
Yeah, you should do it. I bet it's very similar.
Yeah. But I mean, this is such an early game that I bet you it's been changed to be pretty sweet. Like in just like a good amount. The noise that this thing makes, it sounds like... What does it sound like? What is that noise? That dragon noise. It sounds like it's from a game.
I can't hear it all that well.
All right.
It sounds like something from an RPG or something.
There was $5 a little bit ago. I'm not sure exactly when it was, but I apologize.
From John the Don.
John the Don, thank you. Saying, you guys always summon games I remember from the demo discs. Like this one and Ape Escape. Good memories. I have a bunch of PS1 demo discs. I don't think I have any standalone PS1 demo discs. I've got some that I've got like the Square Enix demo disc that came with Brave Fencer Musashi. I might have 1 or 2 others that came like with games.
It is. It might be Angurius. Angurius from Godzilla. Well, I wonder if I retire, do I get to start from there? I wonder. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah. So okay, it remembers. So I'll just save.
Cool.
That's cool. Like, I mean, it's nice. A nice little bonus. Should I try out the second one then for a few?
Of course you should.
All right. 1 second.
Are we on the X station here?
All right.
The robot Dieu kind of looks like he's like a rabbit version of Twinbee or something. Maybe.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Oh, look at that winter theme.
I know. I don't know, like how you make it go away, or it's probably just under themes. No.
Did you never selected it?
No, I think it only does it on probably certain versions or something. I don't know.
Interesting. I don't think I've updated mine since I finished Parasite Eve.
I didn't realize there was one that came out like early December. It was just, like a compatibility fix.
Oh, Fenris Wolf Retro is asking, do I need a Famicom or Super Famicom? Did I miss a super chat from you? Because I feel like I saw one.
I don't see him.
I feel like I saw one from you, and I...
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
But he was selling a Famicom.
Okay, yeah.
In the Discord, or posted it.
This is a while ago. I apologize. I missed this. Saying Wonder Swan episode 1. Yeah, Fenris very generously offered me a Wonder Swan with a screen mod.
Yeah.
So that is super generous. Not only that, supposedly with Klonoa in tow, even.
Really?
Yeah. So
dang,
that's extraordinarily generous. I do have.
There he is. Baron Aloha. Using a space phone booth.
That's amazing. So yeah, I believe that is on the way. Yeah, I won't have a lot of games to do anything on Wonder Swan, but I'm definitely excited. It's a system I've always wanted to kind of get into. But just never pulled the trigger, and then eventually over time,
that was the same way. Like I never ended up getting one. I think I looked at it like maybe at different conventions before. What is this? Look at this thing.
This thing is.
It's like makes you think of Katamari kind of.
It's like an off-brand version of the King of All Cosmos.
Yeah, well, it's the King of All Cosmos' dad, really, considering when this came out.
But Fenris Wolf was saying, I asked about the Famicom, Super Famicom, because I'm getting a set ready for Coury for both. I've got an excellent condition Super Famicom. So I'm that is courtesy of the importer who sometimes comes around here. I've had that for several years. I love having that. It's an excellent condition. So I'm good on Super Famicom. I have a Famicom, like an original Famicom, but I don't think it works. And it's in rough shape, but I really just have it for B-roll purposes. So I would be intrigued by a usable a usable nice looking original Famicom. I would be intrigued.
So the subtitle for this game is Big Trouble in Little Moo, which I can definitely appreciate as a Big Trouble in Little China fan. But like, I wonder if that's what the actual subtitle is for the Japanese version. All right, let's see.
I don't think it works. You say I fixed those. I mean, I've had it for a while. And the person I bought it from, you know, this was back in the days when I actually used Twitter, and someone I followed was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna throw this Famicom away. Like, they were just clearing stuff out and it didn't work, and I was like, no, don't throw it away. Like, I'll. They
Ooh,
just
you
sold
see these water effects?
Oh,
it's kind of neat.
Whoa, that is. It's super neat. Like, jump back in there and jump out again. Whoa! Like, I can't quite tell what's going on there, but it's like, it almost looks like something you'd see on Saturn.
When you eat when you have full health, that is pretty neat looking.
Super neat looking.
When you have full health and you pick up like a food restoration, the voice goes, I'm full. That's pretty sweet looking. I like this meter that it has too, so you know when you're at the top of your jump.
Well, the Famicom I have, like, I mean, it's not just like yellow or anything. Like, it's like the actual like sticker label on the front that says like family computer is like a little rough looking. I don't know if there's really anything that can be done about that per se, but I would consider sending it to you if you wanted to take a look at it. You know, literally the only reason I have it is B-roll, because the guy I bought it from was like, you know, he's like, well, just, you know, pay me the cost of shipping. So I just, you know, I was like, I'll take a prop for that price, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, I've used it as a prop a bunch, but, you know, I just haven't had any way to use it. A friend who makes repro labels for Famicoms. I mean, it's like not so bad that I wouldn't want to use the original label on it. Like, I wouldn't.
Yeah, and it's, you know, I don't mind showing like, you know, like beat up.
I don't think there's a lot of like amazing looking original Famicoms out there. Probably as good of care as people in Japan tend to take care of their stuff. I don't know if Famicoms have aged all that gracefully. But protective layer tends to peel off. I just replaced the protective layer. I don't know if the protective layer is on it or not. That I got super lucky with my Master System because it was in like a $8, like it was marked as $8 in this as is bin.
Yeah.
And it looked really rough, but like all of like the you know, the shiny parts of the system that like still had like the laminate on it. And so the laminate looked rough, but underneath it was in pretty good
People
shape.
didn't know.
Yeah, and it was
and not only was it like, you know, was it on there and protecting it, you also got to enjoy the satisfaction of pulling that laminate off.
exactly.
Which is probably, you know, the best part about it.
Like, when you see like something that, I mean, it's not yours, someone else owns it, and they've left that on there, do you just feel this like burning desire to be like, can I take this off for you?
Oh yeah, of course. I don't think there's a single person in the world that doesn't feel like that.
Well, yeah, but
you're supposed to say like, well, I never do.
But I'm talking about like people who, there are people like that, because there are people who just like leave that stuff on there.
Yeah, I think that's probably a lot of people don't even realize it's on there.
They don't
I mean,
even
there's
realize
definitely
it's
times where I found stuff that I have that has it on there, and it's just because I never realized that it was actually on there.
Yeah, that's happened to me too. Like that happened with something
All right.
recently. What was it? Think of what it was. I did discover. I think it might have been like an IR
this character,
sensor.
like what is that? What is it? Like I don't like. I want to know what it is.
It's like a white banana.
Yep. It's with arms and a face.
Like
and a
you know,
microphone.
the fact that it's like pre-rendered and like the way it's like moving with like a lot of frames of animation. It has like self-shadowing on its like
It's like a
stuff.
3D render, like looking.
That probably looked amazing at the time.
Yeah. I mean, I think the game like even just like looks amazing in general still. Like this definitely has like it doesn't speed up. It maintains the frame rate. It seems like this time. And another. Yeah,
All bananas are white. I mean, I guess bananas actually are more white than yellow, but he is whiter than a normal banana. I mean, he kind of looks like he's wearing like a Japanese like theater mask or something.
This being able to jump so many times is like a total game changer.
One left.
And like I'm not sure if it's like is in a good way. I mean, clearly the game was designed around it. But I had a lot of close calls.
Stop.
Did you know that Robbit Dieu came out in 1999?
Oh, really? So
Yeah,
it's like
much later game. I bet it's like super advanced.
should I try that real quick? After I beat this first world, I'll try it.
Yeah. Check
Just so
that
you can
out.
kind of see.
Yeah, let's see the full evolution.
Is there? I wonder if there's a fan translation for it. If there's no fan translation for it, like maybe somebody can do it, or if,
You have
maybe
it
it doesn't even need
on
it.
your station? I'm
I'm sure I do.
The first game came out in Japan in April 1995. Is it a launch game in Japan? Is that when exactly did the PS1 launch? Oh, that's right. It was in December 94. That's right. I forgot for a second it was in 94. So it was still very early. So Jumping Flash 1 was April 95. When was Jumping Flash 2?
I think it's like a year later.
Yeah, it feels like
that time was really interesting.
1 year later, April 9th.
I guarantee you that it's like a lot longer than the first game. Because that's usually what happened. I mean, that was like what happened with Arc the Lad. Arc the Lad was so short.
Well, I mean,
and then
it was
the second,
almost like a demo.
Yeah, and then when the second game came out, it was like obnoxiously long. Like, and not in a bad way though. I mean, I liked it.
Oh, in a bad way. It was in a bad way.
You didn't like it, but you know, like it was so good that there was really no reason to make any other games in the series after that.
You know, I honestly kind of like I've got a soft spot for the look of Arc the Lad 3 though. Like I've not played much of it, but like that 2D character in 3D world, like 240p sort of style, like I've got a big soft spot for that. And clearly a lot of people think it looks good too, because that is one of the most common, like that appeared in I think like the PS1 RGB episode.
People ask about it.
It appeared in some RGB episode, and that was the what game for that episode. Like obviously people thought that was cool. Like, like the DS Pokemon games and stuff like that. Like I really have a soft spot for just like sprite characters in a 3D world.
Yeah.
I like that one. Robbit Manju. What a great game name.
Well, it's even cooler that it just kind of expects people to know that it's the sequel.
Yeah.
It's not even like Robbit Mandu with like Jumping Flash 3 like being like a subtitle or something like that.
Jumping Flash is the Japanese name of the first two games, right?
Yeah.
It's on the box. Robbit Manju.
I just want to beat this level and like see what happens after this.
Oh, there was a $5 super chat from EB Chill too.
All right, I guess not.
Thank you.
But I was gonna
say, would this work in virtual reality for the PlayStation? What games do you think would work? This would be really interesting for PlayStation VR. Like if they could do it in a way that like wouldn't make you sick, it would be an awesome game for it.
Jumping Flash.
Oh, like
Trouble in Little Moo.
Like honestly, they could do something like they could do something like a slow moving like Crash Bandicoot in VR, you know? Like I think that sort of linear 3D, that kind of platformer, like it might be like maybe like an auto runner type thing. I think that could work too. Did you read about the PSVR 2 details they released this past week? I don't know if Coury can hear me right now.
All right, I'll try this one for a little bit. And then
PSVR came way too late. Now Sony will never bring back Jumping Flash. Yeah. Did you see the news about the PSVR 2 details released?
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like it's going to have a pretty darn high res display, so that'll be neat.
Here we go.
I wonder how long you'd like. I kind of feel like tempted to like get one at launch this time.
Yeah, I mean it depends on the price. I mean if it's going to be like over $500, I'm like,
and if there's games at launch,
yeah. I was kind of hoping that it would, be completely wireless.
Yeah, that would be nice, but it would definitely be nice. But I mean, you can't have everything. I really love the idea that it's, I guess this is a concept that already exists. I think the Quest 2 does this. That it's inside out tracking. I was not aware of this concept where the cameras are on the headset itself. Which, like, I feel like is going to be a lot more
Sugar
accurate.
and Rockets. A Sugar and Rockets production. Graphic designed by Moo.
Would like PSVR to be a standalone system. I mean, that will be a lot of power packed into it. I mean, it's good that it can interface with the PlayStation 5 to increase the power. But I kind of hope... Oh, I like this opening.
Yeah.
I kind of hope that not that it would be how I would use it, but I feel like it would increase the just profile of the platform if they do make it usable on PC. I think that would be really smart to make it PC compatible.
See, Dan Hendricks is saying, I wish my X Station was organized like that. I did manual downloads of all the stuff. I did too. And I just I just organized it because that's how I have all my other things organized. I just have carried on the Smoke Monster way of organizing stuff. The only thing I don't have on this is I usually have a folder called Collections, which is all the games that I own for sure. That I have physical copies of. You ready for this title screen? Because there it is. Oh, a voice says, Robert Manda.
Robbit Mandu.
Oh, it's oof. I got nothing
Man, that
here.
book looks cool.
Yeah.
Go back. Are you in options?
I assume I am.
The top ones that are go all the way back. You're not. I don't think you're in the right menu. I don't think. But there was an option that says okay, that top one there says Hajime something. I find that Hajime usually has something to do with starting. I think that's gonna be.
I'm gonna see what this. I bet this bottom one is like load or something like that.
Oh, it is. It says Rondo. The one with that kind of like square shape at the front.
Yeah. What about the one underneath that?
That says Rondo. The one at the top says Hajime Kara, which I don't know that much about what Hajime means, but from my experience of game menus, it tends to mean something to do with starting.
Oh, we got a world map.
Ooh.
Oh gosh.
Oh, you can move around. Is it DualShock? Can you do?
I don't know yet.
Analog control.
We're gonna see. Huh? It's looking like it's gonna be 60.
Really?
Maybe. I don't know. Well, maybe not.
There's
I'm gonna skip the. There's a lot of stuff to read here.
I mean, it's a 1999 game. Making it more complicated was all the rage.
We got missiles. You can see feet. You can see your feet now.
You could see your feet before.
Oh yeah, you're right. I don't know why I was not thinking you could. Oh, they do the same thing with the water though.
This seems to have a more muted color palette.
Yeah.
The water is amazing. That is so cool. There
is no DualShock.
Oh, that's surprising.
I mean, it works with the stick, but there's no like
analog.
Yeah, I mean, it feels sadly not like the as big of a jump as I was kind of expecting. The music isn't as good either. Oh, I'm just getting up there, I guess. I wonder if I don't have to collect things, if it's more...
It looks like more restrained in some fashion.
Yeah.
But that's just the impression from level one. That's pretty odd.
Yeah.
I mean, it's called Robbit.
Oh, maybe this is like the...
tutorial.
Maybe it is.
Maybe you don't have all your abilities open yet. But there was a $5 super chat from Mike Sherry.
Oh, thank you.
Saying, speaking of arriving too late for a system, Crossbelt Arc where PSP releases in Japan. Guess what? Isn't getting it officially for the West. I mean, PSP.
Right, but
that's long over.
Isn't that getting like a PS4 release? Like that's the Legend of Heroes. Like that's the isn't it like, or is that Zero is like going to be the Trails of Azure?
That's a Falcom game.
Yeah, well, Crossbell is Legend of Heroes. Like it's like the one that's in between Trails in the Sky and
Cold Steel.
And Cold Steel, yeah.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Holy cow! Maybe that's not what I do yet. There.
Yeah. That series game localized over here in the PSP era was a bit of a mess.
Yeah, but I mean, some of them are coming though. Like the I thought that
But not on PSP. It couldn't be.
no. But they're getting like they're going to be on the on PS4. I think like the Trails of Azure. I'm just skipping all this stuff. So it looks like the Ghost in the Shell PS1 game was made by the Jumping Flash people.
Oh, okay.
So that was what they did, I guess. Well, this right here looks like this is 60 right here. Oh, look at it. It's not just all. Yeah, I'm got some like bonus games.
How are you doing? No. How are you doing?
I wonder what the general consensus is of this game from fans. They felt like it was like lived up after the wait. Okay, Azure and Zero are coming to Steam. I don't know about PS4 and Switch. I'm pretty sure that they are coming to PS4, at least. You know, you talk about systems, you know, when their successor comes out and there's still games coming out for the old system. Like, I feel like it's going to go on a lot longer for the PS4 than it has for any other generation previously. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
There's $5 from Carl Sayakatano. I'm sorry, I'm probably saying it wrong. I apologize. Saying, cheers, guys. Love the channel. Coury, whenever I need a laugh, I watch your Sega CD game sack skit. Always gets me. You know, I saved that that skit, like just like the raw footage, so that I can put it in like whenever we do another blooper reel. I'll just put the whole thing in there. Because I mean, I do a bunch of different ways.
How much material do we have for another blooper reel? Do we have enough?
I don't know. I'd have to really take a look.
I feel like I've given you several things lately, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I have some too. But I'm not sure if it's...
I've forgotten what mine even are. Yeah, that is so funny, though.
See, Armando is saying that still waiting on Cold Steel 1 and 2 for the Switch, but I'm not sure if that's even going to happen, because that would probably require XSEED to do that, like, all themselves in-house. And I don't think that, like, XSEED is like one of those things, is one of those companies that I feel like as soon as they lost, like, the Falcom stuff,
Yeah,
like, I haven't bought a release that they have put out in a long time. I don't even know, like, I kind of almost thought that, like, they, like, stopped making games for a little bit there.
I looked them up. I might have even in last week's stream, or it was on a backlogger stream. I don't know. I looked them up recently because I was just like, what if they even like they have just been so off my radar.
Yeah.
Like they were like one of the big companies that was like, you know, they were the working designs of our time, you know?
Yeah.
Like they were, you know, there was all these phases that, like, you know, Atlas was kind of one of those heroes for a while.
Yeah.
That's not really what they do anymore or have done for a while, but like it was always like Atlas was like the hero, like bringing these Japanese games that otherwise, you know, didn't look likely to be localized, and XSEED was doing that, and you know, it just seems like
They just, like, disappeared.
they just stopped doing it. Yeah. They just
Or is
stopped
it,
doing
I mean, they've been, I'm sure they've been doing stuff, it's just not stuff that we, like, really care all that much about.
Yeah, basically. But like, I don't know if there's not really a singular equivalent company anymore, like, doing that. Like, there's a lot of smaller companies, I think, doing some wacky Japanese releases that, My Band Trouble 10 year of a, not likely to get a Western release 10 years ago. But there's not like the singular hero company that like Xseed was at one point. And they are just very much not that right now. And of course, there's the whole like Asia physical release sort of phenomenon, especially on Switch.
Yeah.
That has the English language on the cart. Those are always nice. I gotta say though, the more muted color palette in this game is like kind of sad to me.
Yeah, and the music isn't as good either. Like it's just
there's a lot of talking.
Yeah, and like he was selling stuff. So I feel like there's probably upgrades and stuff like that. I'm playing Halo Infinite, and I'm like, of course it's got to be open world, and of course Master Chief he has to have like armor upgrades that you find.
You can't just
be like a shooter that's like very like solid.
You can't just
like
be what you are at the beginning of the game anymore.
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing to me that the only shooters I really ever played in a multiplayer capacity was like GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, and Time Splitters, Future Perfect.
Yeah.
A little bit of Time Splitters too. And
so there is a Jumping Flash 3? I mean, this is Jumping Flash 3. Or is there like a separate Jumping Flash 3?
Is there?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that Robbit Mondu is Jumping Flash 3. Okay, I was going to say it. Look, it even says it on the side. Look at it. It says Robbit Mondu on the side. But yeah, I mean, like everything's good. Okay.
Well, like what I was like looking when I would look though at like the multiplayer modes and other shooter games that I'd never really played, but I would look at the multiplayer mode. I'd be like, like what's with all this like leveling up and
Well, they want to keep people in that ecosystem or
your
playing
loadout. It's just but it's just like it just does not appeal.
Customizing your weapons. Yeah, I mean it's too much. Unless if you're prepared for like that to be like your for the people that is their main gaming experience is just like grinding on a single shooter, like that makes sense. And that's like honestly that is what they wanted to do. That's how they launched the game. I mean, they want it to be free to play and you pay money to get all this other stuff. And as somebody who like I played the multiplayer in Halo 3 a bit, but that's really it. Honestly, like I never went back to multiplayer in any other ones because just seemed like everybody at that point was so good that if I wanted to like get any enjoyment out of it, I had to really just put a ton of time in. So that's why I like playing the campaign in Halo games. And playing them co-op, and because that was always the highlight for me. But Halo Infinite, it just like launched with the multiplayer for like months, like a couple months before the campaign even came out.
A month.
Yeah,
but
but enough to be like, all right, I have no interest in this, and then you buy the disc and the campaign's not even on it.
Like the thing that like doesn't make a lot of sense to me, is someone who primarily plays games for the main campaign, right?
Yeah.
Like I was reminded of a comment on the games we played in 2021 video because Drum and Lynn were here yesterday, and we finally beat Diablo 3.
Oh. Nice.
And there was a comment, I mean, I was like, in the video, I was like, I enjoyed the experience of playing a Diablo game, but like, I feel like that's enough for me, like I don't need to get like Diablo 4.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
I mean, I would buy, like, I hope that the Diablo 2 remake gets like a physical release. I'm surprised that it doesn't. Does anybody know if that's even planning on gonna get a physical release? It just seems weird that it wouldn't. The remake of 2. The remake of 2 that came out.
Does it not have a physical release? Are you serious?
I'm serious, yeah. I don't know why.
Like that, like I would almost be inclined to get that more than like Diablo 4, just because like the visual style in that is really interesting to me. Like I've never played Diablo 2, but I like that. I like that the perspective it has, where it's got that like, it's like 3D graphics, but it's not. Like as the camera moves, you don't get that parallax effect. Like I don't know exactly what you call it, but like it looks cool in motion. It looks unique. It has a very unique look in motion. So I would be more inclined to get that than like another new Diablo game. Like it was good. Like I said, 3 was, I mean, it was a good experience playing it, but like it's kind of just a one and done series for me. I kind of feel. Like
yeah.
That was enough of a taste of it for me. But it reminded me of this comment that was like, well, Diablo is really all about the end game, Yeah.
And
it's like, it says like more like an MMO, the end game is where it's all about. But like, in an MMO like Final Fantasy 14, I mostly play that for the main storyline stuff, right? And you're the level cap goes up every expansion, and so when you're working through that storyline, you are leveling up, and like the whole. I mean, and by the way, no offense to anyone who finds this enjoyable, but like the whole like in-game grind of like MMOs where you're like, you're already max level, but you're like maximizing your equipment and grinding for all this like better and better and better equipment.
Yeah, to like really what end?
Once it gets to that point though, it's like, what was the point of character levels to begin with? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if your whole goal was to get to this point where you're at the level cap forever. Like, what's the point of even having a leveling system? And I guess I'm trying to link this back into, like the idea of like leveling up in shooters. Like, I'm sure everyone who like plays these shooters regularly, they're already max level. They get to max level and then it's like, well, if everyone is like, what's the point of that journey to leveling up if like the real game is when you're max level? Like, why is that level up mechanic even exist in the first place? Like,
yeah.
like why have it? Like to me, the game, the gameplay makes sense to be over when you reach the maximum level or before you reach the maximum level. Like why even have a character level? Like, I don't really get it. I mean, and it's just that style of like endless game that is the game I focus on. Like, that's just because that concept doesn't really resonate. It just doesn't resonate with me. Like, I want to finish the game and I want to experience something different then,
Yeah. Or you're going to do what I do.
Oh,
and play. I mean, I'm going to play through Jumping Flash again tomorrow.
And you're going to record it.
And record it, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Which that's good too. That's good too. I like that too. But like the idea of like, like just doing fresh builds of a character and doing different things with them in Diablo is like that's my thing.
Yeah.
Like I like that's cool. That's cool, but like it's the same mentality that like I eventually realized that sports are a very similar thing where it's like basketball is the thing. Like this is the one game I'm focused on being really good at.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I wouldn't want to play just basketball if I was a sportsman. I would want to experience mini games.
Yeah, well, it's different when it's like.
It is, but like I guess
Also,
like,
when you're making millions of dollars doing it.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is it clicked with. I mean, maybe the idea if I was a sportsman, I would want to play a bunch of different games. Maybe that's not. If I was a sportsman, I wouldn't think like that. If I was a sportsman, I would just want to focus on basketball or baseball or tennis or whatever the heck you were really, really good at. But like I realized like that like the idea that people just play these MOBA games or just play Fortnite or just play Call of Duty or just play Diablo or just play Final Fantasy 14. I mean, I'm sure they play little bits of other stuff.
Right.
But that's like their focus. That's their main thing. And that's okay. Like I guess my point is when I realized like, oh, like most normal humans in existence are like big into sports. Like, and sports are these like specializations of one singular game. Like, I don't understand the appeal of that, but it made me understand how people. It made me see a parallel of the similarity between love of sports and specializing in a particular sport and people who just specialize in a particular game. Like, it made me understand.
Yeah. Well, I think
I don't really understand it, but it made me understand. I guess it just made me appreciate that. Like, well, okay, like I guess it's a similar thing in your brain that makes you feel like that's what you get into,
Yeah,
I don't want to focus on that one game.
I think that playing sports and like having it be your thing and playing video games is different.
I mean, if you're a competitive gamer, I don't know if it necessarily is.
Well, I think that some people. There's a lot of people that play a lot of different games, like in high school and stuff. Like, will play like the sport. Like, that's why there's different seasons. Like they played at different times of the year, so that like at least in school you could play different things. But I think that things that like require like physical fitness is different than just playing a game.
No, but I mean,
because that's like something you get better at it as you are like get stronger and more fit.
I guess.
It's different. I mean, like, and it's also different when it's like silly to think of it like this, but there's a difference between leveling up a character in the game and leveling up yourself. Right?
I guess so.
I mean, you're leveling up your physical human body. Like there's more value in that. Like that makes it more like. But you can make a ton of money doing it too.
It's also like Final Fantasy 11 though, where you can de-level.
Yeah, if you decide you want to stop, you can. But
Shadow Mask says listening to you guys talk about sports is like listening to my parents talk about video games.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. Like I enjoy sports and I like playing. Like a little, like some. Like there's some sports that I like more than others. But like. I don't know. I just
don't have much of any competitive drive. I just don't care about winning, and I don't care about you winning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh wow, this group of guys who I'm rooting for only because they are, from the nearest metropolitan area to where I live, won a thing.
Well, I mean,
I care so much. Not to poo-poo people who got, most people do. Most people
it's
do
like
care
pride
so much.
and like being excited for like the like your city, like just like feeling pride in the place that you live or where you're from.
I feel pride in my local barbecue and fried chicken.
Yeah. I mean, you realize there's people out there that dedicate their entire life to like making the best fried chicken or like barbecue, and that's like probably what they eat most of the time. I mean, it's the same thing. Yeah, in some ways. I mean, it's just like some people, like want to keep on like just like something enough, and a lot of times I bet you those like a lot of people like probably have no interest in like playing anything else. They're just like, I'm gonna like just play this thing and just like get really, really good at it. And like I don't have any interest in like playing something that I'm like not good at. Or have to like start from scratch.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why like for the most part, like I just rather like play through like story or like just I don't know, like play through games cooperatively. But there's plenty of times where you play through every single difficulty on a game.
Sure. But like, competing against the computer is different from competing against humans to me.
Yeah.
Like there's a satisfaction of, finishing this sort of defined goal, that a game has. Versus like I just got no need to prove I'm any better than anyone else, I don't care.
And that's that's different. Like that's just like competitiveness. Like
I just don't got that.
And that's okay. I mean that like I played like I said, I played Halo 3 a bunch online, and I played Gears of War, the first one, a whole bunch online. But I mainly played that with friends. A closed group, and then we would always like, play against each other.
The only, Time Splitters Future Perfect was the only competitive shooter I ever attempted to play online.
Yeah.
Like I played a good bit of Mario Kart online, mostly with like backloggery people, but sometimes just random people. And that's like the one game that like I'm not like amazing at it or anything, but I feel competent at it.
Yeah.
I feel like I can get first place against random people in Mario Kart online. Not usually, but I can. Like in a shooter, just no chance. There was $2 from Rears to Blood saying, "I beat Octopath Traveler thanks to you, Try. Cheers." Well, thank you. I saw you working on the Discord channel.
The extra boss even.
No, they already decided not doing the extra boss, which is wise. You do not want to. You do not want to believe that you can do it.
Yeah.
You do not want to get invested in that. You really don't.
Yeah.
It's it only ends in tears.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this week. That was a fun little trip down the Jumping Flash.
It was
trail. Let's see what we.
It was totally unexpected.
Played the trilogy.
Parts of it anyway.
Yeah. Saw what it was about.
You got to replay the first tomorrow.
Yep. That's what I'm going to do. All right, everybody. Thanks everybody who donated and everybody who hung out for the long term. Almost 4 hours tonight.
We'll be working on the Mr. video this week, and unless I change my mind, I think I'm going to play Cyber Shadow next week.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun. I hope everybody has a great week at work or school or at home, working from home, whatever. And we'll see you next week.
All right.
Good night, everybody.